Welcome everybody to MogTalk 121. Today is October 7th, 2017, and today we are discussing Final Fantasy XIV PvP. And if you are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community that discusses anything from savage raiding, the chocobo racing, to being really angry at Feast. And today we will talk kind of about the latter. I mean, we got Stefan on here who will bring the positivity towards the conversation. So we should have a very, very good show here.
I'm counting on you, Stefan.
Counting on you, man. All right, let me introduce our guest real quick so we can get that out of the way. First, I'm going to introduce Stefan here. Stefan is a pretty skilled PvP player. I think pretty decent. He won the FanFest 2016 NA tournament, which is, I'd say, is kind of impressive, right? Right?
A little bit.
Stefan, you're muted.
This push to talk change.
Yeah,
Mess me up.
you can do it.
Yeah, so I'm Stefan. Frosty gives me a little too much credit. The correct way to address me is the washed-up, once-skilled PvPer.
Okay.
Been top 100 every season. Yeah, won FanFest. Pretty good at Light Party. And here to talk about some PvP.
All right, there we go. Next, I have with us Mateo, who you guys might know as XX, like XY or something like that, right, Mateo?
Yeah, XYXX.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. There's a lot of reasons, but let's just go with it.
Okay, we'll go with that. I'm gonna give you some credit here. You are also a wonderful player who I think is very skilled as well. You were part of the commentation at the Aether Cup, which I think is the biggest player host PvP event that we had so far in the game. Yeah, that's you. Tell everyone your favorite color, Mateo.
My favorite color is green.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anything else you want to tell the crowd here?
Yeah, basically you nailed it there. I was the co-organizer and co-commentator with +1 for the Aether Cup. If you haven't checked that out, definitely take a look at twitch.tv/Aether Cup. We spent a lot of time, practicing shoutcasting and things like that, just going over the little bits and details. It was a great event, and looking forward to a lot more events like it. There's a lot of things in the oven right now for it, so we'll talk about that.
I mean, this must be a very lucrative career too. How much are they paying you for the shoutcasting?
Oh, I can't disclose that right now.
Oh,
That's
okay.
I'm so sorry.
I got you. No, it's fine. It's fine. And for the first time, we have our next guest here, Rinrin Heartlily. Is that how you say your name?
Well, it was supposed to be Heartlily, but it's actually Heartlily because I originally had a Smurf account already on Gilgamesh, so when I transferred, I had to change my name.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. She is a dear friend of mine who used to be in my FC, but apparently she's not as lucid anymore with the FC. I don't know if that makes sense, but I figured I'd say it anyways. I thought it was a little funny. The FC is called Lucidity, if you're curious. Mateo, Stefan.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you go. Explain. But anyways, Rin here is a new PvP. I wouldn't say new PvPer, new to the Final Fantasy XIV PvP scene. Kind of new, but you're getting it. I think you're getting it pretty well, from what I hear. Right?
I'd hope so, yeah.
You also have some experience with PvP in regards to League of Legends. Can you tell everybody kind of about that too?
Yeah, so I used to work for Riot Games for 2 years. I was the second person on the eSports team. And basically I worked with the professional League of Legends players a lot. Like I managed them, I worked with their managers, and I also used to work with a lot of external partners like MLG, NESL, and stuff like that. So, pretty cool.
There you go. Now, Rin, how do you feel about being on the show today?
I think it's cool. I've been really getting into PvP lately. Like I've been playing 14 for 4 years now. Like I started playing in October 2013, actually. And I've always been like, my focus was always on raiding. Like I love raiding. I always took it pretty seriously. I would say I'm more of like a mid-core raider. Like I've never done anything like world progression or anything like that. I don't think I'm good enough for it either. But I've always focused on raiding, and I would like dab into PvPing here and there a little bit, but I never consistently played it. Like I would usually like hit bronze or something and then stop playing, and like that was it. This is the first season where I actually just continue to play. And so I've been really getting into it, and one of the reasons I continued and one of the reasons I kept playing was because I joined the tryhard community, because I really wanted to get better. So that's kind of why I stuck around. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to talk about it and be part of it more.
Excellent. They're mostly just tryhards there. Let me calm down. Stefan, I gotta say, I'm gonna put this little note in here real quick. I'm loving how your camera is like shaking up and down. Like, I think that you like have something like you're like tapping your foot or something. It's just like.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
We could just do this the whole show.
I thought he was like perpetually agreeing or something. Like
Oh yeah, his whole room was agreeing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
All right. Well, guys, today we have the PvP show, of course. We try to do it at least once a month so we can kind of get into detail about what's going on in the PvP community, what's happening with the future patches. And we have a lot of information that actually came out very recently with the prelim notes, a couple interviews that happened with Yoshida that gives us a bit of an insight about what they are planning to do with it. And so that's going to be the basis of today's show. There are a couple of new things that I'm trying out today. I will be allowing people to kind of opt in to join into the conversation here with us into Discord and just kind of ask a question, like kind of like a call-in of sorts. If you're curious about that, I'm going to do a little command here. You go to that Discord. You should see a couple of voice channels in there. General, call lobby. If you go into call lobby, that means, hey, I'm curious about actually talking and being on the show. And then if we're like, hey, I recognize this guy's name, he's probably not going to come in here and say a whole bunch of racist stuff, then we'll probably bring you into the green room and we'll say, hey, we're going to bring you on here in just like 30 seconds to a minute, then we'll get you on the show. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to join that call lobby and we'll try it out. If it fails horribly, we'll never do it again. There's that. So also, if you have questions, please submit them to our little document here. I think it's actually questions. You can go to that link and say who your question is for and what the question is, and we'll read that on air probably towards the end of the show, maybe a couple of them throughout the show. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so there's a lot of stuff that's going on. The first thing I want to talk about is a few comments he made on this Yoshida Famitsu interview. And one of the first ones was with Rival Wings, which we'll talk a whole section about that a little bit later. First, I want to talk about him saying that there's going to be some adjustments to the matchmaking system, which I think they put that in the notes as well, where you have to be within one tier now, right?
Yeah, it's the same as Season 1, so it's just like it was in Season 1.
Do you guys think that's a good idea, or is that like a bad idea there?
Good idea.
Good? Mateo?
No.
See, I didn't actually participate in Season 1. Wondering if you could kind of elaborate on how it was, Steph?
Like
yeah,
cute
so
times.
basically, so you know how right now, like you get paired with people 2 tiers away. So if you're diamond, you can get paired with gold. Platinum, you can get paired down to silver, up to diamond, so on and so forth. In Season 1, it was 1 tier away. So diamonds only faced platinums and diamonds. Platinums only faced diamonds and golds. Golds only face platinums and silvers, so on and so forth. The downside of that was it was really, really hard to climb. So once you got to platinum, even during prime time, it was like 40-minute queue times. Because there was only like maybe 10 other players that even were at platinum or diamond.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's so easy to climb and participation's so high, I think that this would work.
Okay.
I agree.
Hope it works. I still think that they can do more things to encourage participation. I'm still worried. I mean, there are still times where queues do feel kind of dead, so I'm kind of worried that sometimes, like at least towards the end of the season and stuff like that, the queues will slow down a lot, especially for Diamond probably. But I mean, it is better because there are matches where sometimes it's like, if it feels like it's really hard to either win or or you're gonna lose, because like sometimes depending on who's on what role, like if you have a gold healer versus like a diamond healer, for example, it's very clear, like the skill gap, you know what I mean? So
I think in the end, it's going to be a lot better because it does suck being diamond and being queued with someone in gold who could have got there by just getting lucky and flipping the coin 50 times, and getting up there. Gold, that's what gold turns into. I mean, it's not really, if you just try hard enough, you're going to be gold. If you play enough games, it's gold. You get rewarded. It's like a participation trophy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you get to gold, it happens that you demote to silver, but it's very rare that it happens.
really easily. Yeah,
I guess so. I guess it's possible.
It's proven possible.
Okay.
people shouldn't get demoralized if they get demoted. That's for sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
I agree.
I deranked from platinum to gold.
I have
3 or 4
too.
times.
But I mean,
and
going
got back up. Yeah.
gold to silver is like a whole different situation.
Yes.
I think so, at least.
It happens, man. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it, right? It happens.
Yeah, maybe you're trying a new job that you're not good at, and it's just it is what it is, man. But I mean, I think this is a good idea competitively. I'm really hoping it doesn't kill queues. That's the only thing that I'm afraid of.
I think, and I don't think it was in this interview, but they did mention that they're thinking about adding rating decay. And if you pair those two things together to make people, have to play at least a few times a week, then it sort of goes hand in hand. I think you wouldn't see a drop in queue times with those two things together.
So here's the other part to that. Once you figure out the formula to rank decay, then you're like, oh, I play once a month, I play once a week, I play once, and then you're done, right?
Still better than now, where you can climb in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season and then just not touch it forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true. What would be a fair system for rank decay, now that we're kind of on that topic? Like, how would that work to where it's not, horrible for people who barely can get on and play when they can, versus the people who are just trying to abuse it?
It shouldn't be extreme, definitely. Like, a number I had in my mind was maybe 5 games per week or something like that on the resets. You know what I mean? Just if you can't get 5 games in, like, it shouldn't be much of a decline anyway. Like, I don't know, maybe 25 points you lose or something like that if you're diamond
per week.
Just how much it would. Yeah, if you don't participate. I'm trying to make it not too extreme. Do you know what I mean? Because it's such a big change for the community. Being able to kind of for 5 seasons kind of sit on your rank and all of a sudden you can't do it anymore. It's going to be a shock factor for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I want to see how it works out. If it gets too horrible, I don't know. I feel like 5 games is completely fair. Anyone can fit that in if they're actually trying to rank up on a board that's competitive, right? That should be okay. You have to sit in queue for a little bit 5 times a week you get into the match. I guess it's more fair for healers than it would be for like DPS, right?
Yeah, right now, I think queues are pretty even.
Yeah?
My healer queues yesterday were 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually been kind of an oversaturation of healers. So a lot of times, like, sometimes I get instant queue. Sometimes I actually still have to sit and wait because there's like 4 or 5 of us that are in queue. So we have to take turns in a way.
Well, then,
I think, yeah, definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what's it like for tanks and DPS then? Are they 30 minutes too, or are they like...
Tanks about the same, right?
Yeah, like 5 to 10.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, melee...
melees are instant?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if anything, there's like a drought of melees a little bit.
How did that happen?
Because Samurai is like the only good melee now.
Pretty
or
much.
Ninja. But people don't like ninjas still for some reason. I think there's like 2 or 3 people that even play it.
All right, so tell me why people like ninja. Defend it real quick, King. This is your time.
It has a stun and a silence.
Okay.
Like,
can it provide the burst damage necessary?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, its burst isn't as high as Samurai, but yeah, it at least has the utility of the stun and silence.
And isn't their burst a little harder to predict than the other jobs?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Huh. When I was talking to someone that was playing from the Japanese servers, you guys are probably familiar with him. He was saying that right now, like if you're a tank, you don't really have a lot of signs for when a ninja is going to do their burst. You guys don't agree with that at all?
I mean, I guess when you compare it to like a dragoon that turns red or a monk that puts on riddle of fire, then yes. But like, it's sort of like you read a player's actions, not necessarily like the buttons they press.
Okay.
So it's like you can tell by a ninja's positioning like who he's about to burst.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So before we go too into detail with a lot of these changes, there's a lot of them out there, a ton. And so one of the hugest criticisms Square Enix gets, right, is that they don't give a shit about PvP. They don't care. Whatever. They hate. They're like, PvP sucks. It's just there as like a gold saucer game, right? So
see, I don't agree with that.
Well, that's what the jabs that people make all the time about PvP. So now you can see there's a lot of changes going into PvP, and they're putting some serious thought, or it seems like it, right? This seems like positive stuff. We told them rank decay. We've said it for a while. They're like, okay, we got it now. All right. We told them it's too much for a gold player to be playing against diamond, or even a silver player playing against unranked is kind of weird. So these seem like decent changes. Do you guys feel pretty positive right now with how Square Enix is starting to treat PvP?
It's in the right direction. I'll admit, you know what? I'm just gonna say it really quick. When it comes to like the frontline changes, those were way overdue. Like the freelancer and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then there was a little bit of like a dark cloud when there was like a PvP change, a promised PvP change, and there wasn't much to it. I forget what patch it was. It wasn't Stormblood. Mm-hmm. It was like a 0.5 patch. So not a lot of people were kind of enthused. And I'm not sure if I speak for everybody, but these PvP changes actually kind of surprised me. I wasn't really expecting much. Mm. Like, I know we were promised, like cross-server custom matches, which is huge hype. We'll talk about that more, but, you know, rival wings and things like that. But aside from that, I don't think anybody was really expecting job changes and things like that, job adjustments. So it's good, like even the quality of life changes there, it's going to go a long way. Like, just give us a little bit. We'll make it work.
No, I'm pretty content with this. I didn't realize that they were going to start putting this much focus in there. I mean, everybody was kind of sad and doubtful because I think there was a drought kind of at the beginning of Storm's Blood, right? Everyone felt like there's like, hey, nothing's really happening. The situation's gloomy, and they're not listening to us. But I don't really think that's true. And I think they're starting to make it obvious that's not true.
Yeah, and I will say my one criticism that I've had with them in the past, and I hope that this is sort of a sign that it's going to be changing. Not very hopeful that it is going to be changing, but I don't want them to keep up the sort of the method they've gotten into of like too little, too late, right? Mm-hmm. Like the freelancer thing, that was like 2 years overdue.
Yeah.
Like these PvP changes, I think they're coming at the right time. Like they could have came a patch earlier, but now that they're coming out now, like it's whatever.
Yeah.
I just hope that like the cross server customs, those should have been put in at launch. The team registration, that should be what's coming next. Mm-hmm. So like, if they want to keep people interested, they need to be doing these changes at like a pretty steady pace. Like they need to get this ball rolling is what I'm trying to say.
It sounds like they are. It sounds like they're starting to move that ball. I mean, as long as it keeps going and we don't hit a drought where they're just not doing anything for a patch or two, then I think this is going to be super positive for PvP. Rin, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I guess I'm a little more of a devil's advocate with this kind of thing because I've worked for 2 game developers now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I could say like having worked for Riot, I mean, when I started at Riot, obviously like I started when there was about 100 employees. Now there's probably 1,000 or more. I know that Square Enix, I'm not sure what the exact number is, but they don't actually have that big of a staff. I think they have around I want to say between 3 to 500 between Japan and North America. Like, I know their North America office is pretty small, and like I just know when it comes to adding all these features and everything, it's really easy to say like, oh, they should have done this, but you know, people don't know actually the amount of man hours and resource and budget and everything that it takes to go behind a lot of these things. It is nice, and it's like it would be nice to have a lot of these things faster. Sometimes, you know, it's not as possible. And I know, like, because PvP is still kind of budding in this game, there are things that are popular in Final Fantasy XIV that will take more of a priority over PvP. I think they're trying to push PvP up. I think they're trying to get it to be more popular. They want more people to be in it. But until that happens, you know, I think it's pretty understandable that it's going to come second to some other things that are more wanted by the community.
Yeah.
And I think in a way that's okay, but at the same time, for a game as successful as Final Fantasy XIV is and has been, the excuse of staff can't really be an excuse as time continues to move forward. I mean, PvP was introduced in patch 2.1, I think it was, with the original Wolves Den. So it has been, I'd say, about 4 years that PvP's been in this game, and we're only now getting to this point. Whereas if you look at a game like World of Warcraft, back in their Burning Crusade expansion, which was the second one, the equivalent of our Heavensward, I'll put it at, they already had, you know, a very not established, but a pretty robust like reward system. Like they had a really, really good like arena team set up, which would be like the equivalent of our light party. They sort of had a lot of it figured out a lot quicker. And I think one of the things, and it was said in chat, they do just need to communicate more. So not necessarily they need to develop stuff more, but they need to, you know, get in touch with the community a little bit, gauge what the issues are, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and sort of open up a discussion of, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you guys think? Or, hey, this is what we're doing already. We're letting you guys know. Or, hey, we hear you guys. We know this is an issue. We can't fix it now, but we're going to in the near future. Stuff like that goes a long way. And that is one thing I will say hasn't come from Square Enix. Or even a step further, they say that they're going to do things and then they don't, which is what a lot of the forum posts do.
It's funny, the stream kind of died out there when you were saying that stuff too, by the way. Yeah, got him. Yeah, it hit 0. Like as soon as you start talking, it hit 0, and it's just sitting there saying 0. I think I have to cancel my internet provider, guys. I don't know. Yeah. I've spent like 2 months working on this, and I'm burnt out on it. I'm gonna wait for it to pass. Here, while we're waiting, it's clearly an inside job to suppress the truth. But yeah, no.
Hey, you guys want to play some Feast while we wait?
Yeah, we can play Feast. Well, my upload's not working. I'll be jumping all over the screen.
No problem. Let me just be on the other team.
Well, maybe it'll be a good thing.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I have a hard time with you, you little bugger.
Really?
Freaking paladin over there.
You don't like my stuns, dude?
I don't like your stuns, dude. I think, you know what? Speaking of that, I think I'm one of the few that takes that DR trait on melee, just because it's so annoying being just stunned randomly. Like, I don't know. It feels like some tanks just kind of do like a drive-by stun. They don't even care. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, hey, here's a dude jumping around. Let me stun him. It's so annoying. Like, oh, okay, or unmend or whatever the hell.
Yeah, what I usually think I do at least is if I see someone and like the healer either can't handle whatever DPS, even if it's not burst DPS, they can't handle it, I have to put a stun on you. Or if I feel like I need to help catch up, it's a utility, right? It's not just, hey, I need to stop the burst. It's, hey, I need to improve the situation.
It looks like it's back, by the way.
It's back, but it kind of is dipping around a little bit. But it should be fine right now. It'll be okay.
Nice.
Stefan, your point wasn't that important, so we're going to skip past it.
Damn.
I couldn't even repeat myself if he asked me to.
Okay. It's all right. It'll be on the VOD.
A TLDR, I think player communication between the community team, the dev team, and the players would make up for a longer development time of PvP features.
Mm-hmm. It would be good if they invest. Like, I'm hoping that the money for this MMO goes back into the MMO to build it more. That's if they get like a really successful esports event. Well, actually, Ren, you might know this. How much money does esports make? Like, if an event make a company? Any at all?
It does, but it depends on how you're making the money, right? There are different ways to make money. So, the developer can either make money by sponsorships, like if they want to throw a tournament and like say, so say they're like, okay, we're gonna host a PvP Feast tournament, and they ask, like, I don't know, Coca-Cola, like, okay, hey, Coca-Cola, do you want to sponsor our tournament? And then their sponsorships will be like, their name will be advertised everywhere. So like that's a way like Coca-Cola would pay to get, their brand basically get advertised, stuff like that. Another way is like investors, like getting investors to invest, basically. Like that's a lot of the ways that some other tournaments or even like professional teams and stuff like that get money. And then there is what Valve does. I really love what Valve does for the international, which is the Dota tournament that happens every year. They basically use crowdfunding. So Dota basically, like, they sell this like virtual book every year called the Compendium, and if you purchase it, part of the money goes directly to the international prize pool. So I mean, there's different ways, basically.
Yeah, and so, they could just throw out some Coleman chairs and tents and stuff like that, and, have a cup noodle stand or something. And they could make some money off of their PvP tournament, right? I think that's one way to do it. I've worked for Final Fantasy 15.
Hey, man, we had inside bets in the Aether Cup. We had inside bets. I had somebody win some money. I think it was like $20, but hey, it's gonna go a long way.
Okay, yeah, $20 will go into a month of Adobe.
Oh man, we had some McDonald's and
20 McDoubles, man.
Oh, for sure.
They don't have those anymore.
Oh, I don't know what they have. I haven't been to McDonald's since I was 8 years old, man. That place is horrible.
It's okay. There's a PvP player named Kiri. He eats enough McDonald's for all of us.
That's who ate it. That's right.
Man, that is horrible. That is horrible. Ugh. All right. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on here. Is another response in this interview about we kind of went on a tangent because I want to discuss Square Enix place in this, and it seems I'm feeling a lot more positive about this stuff, and I feel like it's going to go in a good direction as long as they keep the ball rolling. They have forum posts going, communication happening. There's nothing but positivity that can happen with the community. But with the other response he had here is he said the alt character problem. This is something we've heard on this show multiple times. The alt character problem is a very difficult problem to solve, but after they implement the team registration system in the future, they do think the amount of alts will decrease. It depends on how they set that up. King, go.
Okay, so I'm gonna tear this one apart.
Oh my god, I knew it.
The first part, there's two parts to it, right? He starts off really convincing. I agree with him, right? Like maybe I'm standing up in the crowd during this speech and I'm cheering for him because I agree with it so much. The alt problem is really hard to solve. How do you solve it without reverting the change which allowed people to play level 30? I think a simple one is just not letting level 30 players play ranked PvP. I think that would be very, a good change. But beyond that, the second thing he says, I think the amount of alts will decrease with the new team registration system. So the team registration system has been used in other games, and what it is basically you have your 4 players, and you register as a team, right? And you gain rating as a team. So you don't have an individual rating like before, but you have your team rating, and that's going to be their new light party system, which makes me just sort of perplexed of like, how does this have any relation to alts and solo queue if you're talking about your team registration and light party? And not only that, but in the past 2 seasons specifically, and since the beginning, people have been abusing alts and light party too. I mean, we saw last season, they'll get on their mains, they'll climb up. As soon as they know that there's a competitive team in queue that could take away their precious points, they just switch to their alts, their low-ranked alts, and then they just keep queuing up. So it doesn't solve anything. People will still play alts.
I don't think
So
alts.
that's the second part of it where I'm like, that makes no sense, right? The first part of it, I agree. You know, his what he says, I agree with, but his reasoning behind it, doesn't make any sense.
Okay. All right, Rin, go ahead.
I mean, I personally think, like, I agree with Stefan in that I don't think they should be able to play ranked PvP right off the bat at level 30. I mean, what I also think is, I mean, not all jobs are available at level 30. So for me, I feel like you should only be able to play ranked PvP at level 50 because that's when you can access all jobs, right? It's like you can't, if you, like, I just started leveling an alt on Sargatanas because I wanted to have an alt for alt raid. And, you know, I was leveling and I got to level 30 and I realized, like, oh yeah, I didn't realize how easy it was to start playing Feast on an alt. Like, you just hit 30, you unlock Feast, and bam, you're in. Like, it's like all I had was Conjurer at 30 and I could play Feast. And you could play ranked matches. And, you know, I was like, that's too easy.
So,
and it's, you know, if they want ranked to be this thing that's a little more serious, a little more competitive, it throws off the balance way too much. And it's like, if they want to increase Feast participation, the problem is like, if you have people coming in on, you know, alt accounts and stuff like that, and you get into these games where you're with new players and they just get demolished, they're gonna feel really discouraged from playing. So the barrier needs to be a little stronger from, like, at least let people get to 50 or something.
Okay. I have some thoughts on this, but Mateo, we haven't had a lot from you, so I'm gonna make you throw in your 2 cents here.
You know what? It's kind of interesting on the show we were on, your Frosty MogTalk, right before the Stormblood launch, the early release. It was Stefan. I think Stefan was on it. Yeah, I think you were. Maybe not. I don't know. But it was +1. I was on there too, and this was the main topic of conversation. We were excited, you know, it's like, hey, okay, I don't have to level all these jobs this much and stuff like that. But there was just this glooming issue of like, hey, you're level 30, you can just jump into ranked PvP. And I'm pretty sure it was actually Stefan that made the point. It's like, hey, go to this EXP bonus world, you know, grind your ass off a little bit. It'll take you maybe 3-4 hours or something like that. You'll have a PvP character ready, you know what I mean? You can go into ranked. And unfortunately, you know, we kind of had bad feelings, bad vibes about what's going to happen, and it came true to some extent. So I really stand firmly by the fact that just now that even 4 versus 4 unranked is coming, you know, like the practice mode, just disallow level 30s from entering ranked PvP. Just get it out of there. Like, why is it even there? You know, it's cool, it's nice, it's convenient, but ultimately it's creating more issues than it's helping.
No, that was exactly my thought. So they are introducing this new 4v4 training mode, which people have been saying, yeah, we need this. We need people to go out there so they have a place to practice and try things and to play. And so the way that they can make use of this is say, hey, you're level 30. You want to level up doing Feast? Sure, do it in the training mode. Just go in there and play on the training mode. Don't affect the rank stuff. They should also make it... They should...
Yeah, they could make a requirement, like you have to have played at least, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20 training matches until you can queue into ranked, right?
Can we change that to 100 or 200?
Well, I mean, that's probably too high. It's just the thing is like, especially when it comes to alt problems, like the alt problem, it's like, yeah, it is easier for us to say like, oh, it should just be harder for people to like make, but I think there's other things that they could do to at least like give existing players, like even like the, you know, the newer players, the bronze players, like stuff like that. Like, I think there could be more tools to at least help educate players on like what they should be doing in Feast, because that's the problem is like you don't have a lot of options. There's only ranked 4v4 and then there's 8v8. Like when I was still playing, like when I was ranked as gold, for example, I was like, I kind of want to try out Dark Knight. But I was like, I don't want to queue as Dark Knight in ranked 4v4 because I don't want to like bring my team down because I don't know what I'm doing. But my only other option is playing 8v8, which I did. I went and played a couple 8v8 games, but I was like, this does not tell me anything because it's entirely different, right?
Yeah. I think they need to scratch 8v8 completely, to be honest with you. Especially if they're bringing in training mode, there's no reason to have 8v8.
Well, it's
And I think
now. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even now, like with the new system that they brought in Stormblood, 8v8 is awful. Like that is just a horrible game mode.
It's even worse.
I mean, yeah, and like what I'd really like to see, because like I'm speaking from experience here. Like I think I mentioned when we started off and we did the intros, like I would dabble in PvP. Like I would play a little bit and I would stop. And one of the reasons that I would stop was because I would get really intimidated. Like I would play some matches and then, sometimes I would get harassed or something like that. Like people would get really angry that I didn't know what I was doing. And then I would be like, okay, I can't do this. And I would just stop queuing. And it's like, I know that there's some knowledge out there of like, to learn what you're supposed to, but I don't feel like it's really easily accessible. Like I think they should really implement stuff like tutorials and guides and stuff like that. Like I know like with the novice network, I like took a look at it when I was like creating a new account, and you know how they make you do those like little novice missions where they like really point things out to you. Like they should do that for Rank Feast, because like when you like I'm going through that right now because like I transferred to Cactar, so I'm back in unranked and now I'm bronze, so I'm playing in all these low level matches, and I see the same mistakes that like veteran PvP players will see as like, oh, this is so obvious that you shouldn't do that, but like new players are not going to know that you shouldn't do that. Like I've seen like healers taking the defense box, or tanks taking the offensive box, or tanks still like 7 and 10 stacking metals. Like people don't know that they're not supposed to do that. Like there should be more guides and tutorials and stuff like that, like telling people just the basics, so you don't so people feel a little less overwhelmed.
No, that would be true, to make sure that they actually go in there and they can see, hey, this is stuff that you can do. I mean, they have a little bit, but they really don't have enough. It's not like thrown in their face kind of to make them see that. So there should be like some sort of, hey, here's a bot batch, and then they train you on it. And then maybe they could just like freeze and say, hey, the Wolf's Heart spawns at 4 minutes. At 4 minutes, it just freezes and explains what the Wolf's Heart is. And it's just called a training match, right? And then again, all the bots come back and they start fighting again. And you go in there, you do your thing. And you just go through the match to understand how all those mechanics work. That sounds perfectly fine.
Kind of like a Hall of Novice.
Yeah, like there should. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like there should be an interactive tutorial thing, like the Hall of Novice for PvP, for ranked PvP.
Yep.
Because you're not really taught those things at the start. You just right away go in, and it's just like, it's kind of a cluster. So.
Yeah, so just a quick Hall of Novice game. You only need to do like one. Maybe if they just did one, even that, just to explain every basic part of a match, and just 8 minutes long, whatever. You go through the whole match. Then you have, hey, you have to play 10 unranked games. Then you get into ranked matches. That seems like a pretty fair system.
Yeah.
Like 10 is not bad,
Yeah, it's not bad. And just make it to where you have to be max level in order to do ranked PvP. And that way you can eliminate, you're not going to eliminate, but you're going to help deter some of the alt issues that are out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good start.
When it comes to alts as well, I know it's been said as well, it's kind of like, now with the unranked coming, the 4 versus 4 mode, why not just, I don't know, allow one character per account to be accessible? I mean, sure, people can, fork out another subscription fee and play on that account, but
You'd see a lot less.
Yeah.
I think that's a little harder to do, but
yeah, probably system-wise, but I mean, just get them out of there. Get them out of there.
I don't think they should necessarily need to do that. I mean, if there is a way to restrict it from the top 100 rewards, fine, but maybe not altogether. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember This is just a thought I had earlier. It's like when the prelim notes came out and they're like, hey, it's going to be 1 tier. First thing Source said was like, yeah, get effed, gold players. And he's just like cheering and everything else. I was like, man, this is going to be... I see, these things start to build up, though. I mean, like, we have the training mode in there. We have we take away the level 30 restriction. We take all this other stuff. Are there going to be... You put more walls up for less games in the end, right? Do you think that it would just cut into the games too much? Does that make sense?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can only speak for myself, right? But and I'm sure other people, at least a handful, have the same mindset as me. I want, like, say I play Feast, right? And I play Healer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to play Dark Knight. Maybe I want to try out the new ninja changes. But I'm not going to go queue on my diamond ranked account and go try out ninja, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get a good experience trying it out if I queue up for 8v8 or frontlines. It's just not the same. But with this new unranked mode, I think you would see I think at first, at least, you wouldn't see so much new players trying it out as you would seeing veteran players or, you know, the intermediate level players trying out new things in unranked instead of just doing more of the same.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it works out. I'm hoping the queues are good. That's the only thing. And Stefan, you've comforted me. I feel like it should be fine. If it's not, I'm going to be really mad at you. All right.
You can blame me.
Blame Stefan.
I wish Stefan would comfort me.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so and the next part of this interview just goes into the whole rank decay thing. It was saying that with the team registration system, they're adding a new feature where they're considering implementing a rule where your ranks decline after not playing for a certain amount of time, and we talked about it a little bit. So we probably hit all those like important parts that we saw from that interview, just because it's funny they released this and I was like, man, this is some really good information. Then they just like released the prelim notes. I'm like, solidified half of what they said. I'm like, well, that interview is kind of worthless because I can just go to this prelim notes now. But they did talk a little bit about Rival Wings here. You guys ready to get into Rival Wings?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Okay.
I have an unpopular positive opinion about Rival Wings.
That I'm excited to hear it. Hold on, I want everyone to know what this is real quick though. And the main reason I want to bring this up is that they said Rival Wings is this cool, nice new event that they're putting in there with robots and crazy shit happening. But they said that their main focus with PvP is Feast. So in the addition of all kinds of content, they're not going to balance it. It's not balanced. You know, it is what it is. The balance will always go towards Feast. And so Rival Wings is obviously just for fun. And I hope people realize that when they're going into it. So maybe when you're leveling up, do this thing, man. Get into a robot. Crush people. Level up. That's a fun way to level up, man. No?
Yeah.
All right. Stefan, give me your thoughts, dude.
Okay, so basically everybody I've talked to says, dude, putting this MOBA-like gameplay in an MMO is the most dumb shit they could ever do. I disagree. I think with the changes that they put in this MMO, it kind of plays like a MOBA now with the combat. Like, you only have, like, 5 abilities on, like, pretty short cooldowns. So, like, I feel like it's kind of fitting to, like, have this sort of MOBA-esque map with your MOBA-esque gameplay of all the characters now.
Are you saying we're just playing MOBAs right now when we do PvP?
It's not a MOBA. I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
gonna step in and say no. It's not a MOBA.
It is MOBA-like gameplay. It has 2 bases. You're going down a line. You have little NPCs that just, you know, randomly march forward to attack structures, which you're gonna have to clear out. And then you also have like siege weapons basically to help you take those objectives.
It doesn't matter. It's 24 versus 24. It's not going to be anything like League. It's not going to be anything like Dota. Like,
well,
even if you have a structure and like whatever, that doesn't mean it's a MOBA.
Okay, let's say it's similar to a MOBA.
Okay, imagine if you went into League of Legends and there was, you know, this special mode where you had 24 versus 24 people, then it would be similar.
That doesn't exist.
It's the same map. It's the same game.
Yeah,
it's a different amount of people.
It's stretching it a little bit. I'm sorry.
You know what? I kind of agree with Stefan a little bit on this. Just a little bit.
It's Aether. It's
I
ARAM,
agree with
man.
Rinny.
Sorry.
I think that when you're playing this game and when you're playing a MOBA, I mean, it's not the same. The camera structure is not the same. How you use abilities and everything else, how you control a character, it's all different. But I mean, like, it's pretty simple. Having 5 different buttons, and then you try to level up, and then you try to do other things with it.
Well, you're not leveling up.
Well, I guess you're leveling down, right? When you kill someone, you become weaker because you get their coins and
Well,
you get.
actually, well, not in Rival Wings. Actually, yeah, you get Battle High and Battle Fever. That's kind of your level up.
Yeah, there you go. But you lose it. They can kill your levels too, I guess. I'm trying, Stefan, dude. I'm trying.
You know, I think Mateo and Rin are wrong. I think I am right. I think that this is like a MOBA.
Yeah, I'm just making it
I
even
I
here.
think
2 versus
I've
2.
played MOBAs for 12 years, so nah.
I mean, it's not 12, but I mean, I've played them off and on since the Warcraft 3 Dota. But like, I don't know. To me, if you have 2 bases, you're marching down a lane, you got structures in your path, and the goal is to destroy the enemy base. That is the MOBA gameplay, you know.
You know, it's
In
kinda
that
funny 'cause
sense,
that's also the RTS gameplay. So is this an RTS too then?
We aren't building our base though.
I guess.
We're not building units from our base. Are we building units from our base?
RTS is different because you're building units and you're microing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in League of Legends or like other MOBAs, your minions just sort of march forward.
Yeah.
You just control the one character.
So
That's
are
the
the
difference
robots the heroes and the players the minions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's actual minions.
Oh, and
There's
so there's
ma-
minions.
there- yeah,
Okay.
there's
I mean,
mammoths. They're little
I mean,
mammoths.
Whether the the bare concept of it is similar, it's not going to play like it's not going to play like an actual MOBA.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Well, it will
That's
play
like the gameplay is-
MOBA-esque.
Still think it's a stretch, but whatever.
All right, we'll see. When we start having our eSports for Rival Wings here, and we're like, the new MMO MOBA, sweeping the nation, sweeping the world, Rin's gonna be like, man, fucking Stefan, he was right.
I guess Rin and I won't be invited anymore.
Rin, first and last show. Couldn't believe it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I really, really hope that the structures are not immune to magic damage like the ice and shatter.
Oh my god, exactly.
Yeah, that would be a little bit odd.
Just move away from Shatter completely.
Yeah.
We'll be happy. We'll be happy. Like that's
Yeah.
That's gonna be good news.
Shatter is depressing when you think of it in a PvP term. It is literally just the introduction. Here you go. You can attack things, and here's what your PvP abilities look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're attacking training dummies with other people attacking training dummies, and they can attack you if they're like, oh, maybe I should try to actually attack a person, and you can switch over to a person and see how that feels.
You know, I can't count how many times I've been in there by myself or in a pre-made in Shatter, and everybody just really just tunnels on the ice. And then when you start attacking the people that are attacking the ice, I can just imagine their face. Like, they're just so shocked. Like, what the hell? Like, somebody's attacking me? Like, what? I just got LB. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's the wrong way to PvP.
I like it when they sit there and they keep tunneling the ice even though that they're dying.
They're
they don't,
like
they don't try to do
10%
anything. They just
each, yeah.
sit there and take it.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, how do you guys also feel about this not being implemented until the same time? I think. Well, is Super Savage being implemented before? I think it is actually being implemented before.
Yes.
So how you guys feel about it being delayed a little bit, or it feels like it's delayed?
I mean, I think it's fine because there's so much stuff coming out in 4.1
Okay.
anyway. Like, I feel like even if they did, release Rival Wings in 4.1, people may not prioritize it over other things. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
also, it's always a good idea to stagger content. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's nice to feel like, oh my god, there's all this stuff coming out. I'm so excited. But at the same time, it is a good idea to stagger the content so you feel like there's less of a drought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too upset about it. I feel like I'm more excited. It's funny, if they give me anything for PvP, like the PvP actions, that's a whole new world. PvP's just changed up completely for me. This is new content. I gotta learn how the actions are going to apply to Feast. So I don't need Rival Wings. I got a whole nother set of things to do, which isn't like content itself, just understanding how the content's being changed. Which, do you guys want to talk about that a little bit while we're on that topic?
I guess parting thought on the delay. I guess I'm more disappointed in Eureka being pushed back to 4.2 than Rival Wings being pushed back to 4.15.
Oh my god.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, like I said, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff coming out right now. So I feel like if you added Eureka on top of that anyway, that's a lot of content to kind of come out at once. So
Yeah. It already seems like a lot. Like I'm scrolling down this page and it's like a book.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's MSQ. There's a new Primal. There's there's a lot. I don't know. I know I'm missing some other stuff, but it's like, there's a lot of stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have another PvP show before it comes out, so we can save some of the discussion for that one if we want to, because we don't know too much about it. We just know it's going to be like a MOBA, right, Ren?
Yeah, definitely.
You leave Tim Rin alone.
I'm sorry. Ren made me equipment in the game when I was really low and poor.
I did?
I think so.
I think I just bought it off the market.
Did you just buy it?
It was one of the primal swords, right? Like it was like the Bismarck.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like
I was trying to glamour.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no, I got it."
Glamour.
This is like music to my ears. Welcome to Cactuar, Rin.
Oh no.
I think Mateo needs like a sugar mama or something.
Oh, I think everybody needs a sugar mama.
I already sugar mama like 4 people in my raid group, so it's not.
5. I'm in there. Let's go.
There was actually, Frosty, there's 2 more things that were mentioned that aren't in the patch notes that I think were in another interview.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring them up real quick, if that's okay.
Do it.
Because these are going to be for the Feast now.
Oh, okay.
So, well, actually, no, the first one is actually for Rival Wings.
First one, then.
So first one, it's been said in an interview that Rival Wings will have a pre-made limit of 4 players.
Yes.
Light party pre-mades only.
That actually sounds fine to me. I mean, it seems... Go ahead, sorry. I have my thoughts already on it.
But, if you have my thoughts are just, I personally don't like it, but I don't think it's like the end of the world. Because like if you could bring in 8 people, then like you could kind of guarantee victory like every time. Because like you're a third of the team.
But how would that feel against the other team who's not like queuing up like that, all right?
Well, I don't care about them.
So, I feel like people should be able to get in there and enjoy it. And if you have people going in and queuing as a 4-man party each time, then you might have a couple of 4-man parties and a couple of not 4-man parties. I don't know. I feel like it'll even out. And it'll make it still fun. Like, you're going to increase the chance you're going to win. Right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Well, yeah. You could have just 4 random bots with you, I'm sure, right? That's always a possibility.
Yeah. You can always, queue at the same time as another team of 4 that you're try to get on their team. And if you get on the other team, then fine. Try to beat your friends,
Yeah.
It's whatever.
So, no, that's the thing. Like, either you completely squash the other team, like smash them, they're done, or you have a really fun game, right?
Hey, man. We're just butthurt. We can't bring in 8 of our friends in there.
All right. What's your thoughts on him, Mateo? Though? Are you with him?
I am with him actually. Like I have some of the greatest memories in PvP is going in with the full premate with my friends and just being on voice chat or whatever and just having a good time. Sometimes we don't win. Like that's most of the time we do, but it's I'm gonna miss that. Just not having that.
That's okay. There's Shatter. There's
don't.
Okay, Stefan.
Yeah,
Stefan, what else do you got?
All right, the other one. This is a doozy, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is some Care Bear shit right here.
Oh my god! All right.
So Yoshi P said they are looking into implementing a way for players to hide their win-loss percentage in their ranked feasts, like profile, because apparently people are getting harassed based off their win percentage.
Really?
Yeah.
How often do you guys see that happen?
I see it all the time.
I see people say it doesn't matter all the time.
I don't think it matters at all. Like, I'm like, I'll again play devil's advocate for that. Like, I think it does not do as much harm as people are thinking it will. Like, the reason that people got kind of an uproar about it is they're like, oh no, it's gonna, you're helping the win traders even more. But that's not the case, right? It's like SC will still have that data. Even if we cannot see someone's win trade percentage, SC will
win
still be able to see it.
Not just that win rate.
Win percentage. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm on to you.
That was fine.
Even if we can't see, like, okay, say it, like, even if we can't see the person's win percentage, like, Square Enix will still be able to see it, right? They'll still have that data available, and it's not like we need to see that data to know. Like, we as a community, we always know what's happening, like who's doing it or whatever. We don't need to see that number. So I actually think, like, the change is fine because it'll help the players that maybe feel a little more discouraged or a little more like, oh, I'm really bad at this game, or I'm not doing as well. Like, it'll encourage them a little more to, like, keep trying. Like, I understand, like, the logic behind it. I don't actually think it does harm as, like, people think it will.
Yeah.
I think it's a travesty.
It's only because you have high win rates on your thing and you like showing it off. Yeah?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore.
No,
it's I just it blows my mind because I don't understand how you can claim to want to move into esports and be a competitive game, and then all of the competitiveness of the thing, like of the game, you just take it away. No talking to each other. I can't even see how good you are anymore. Like,
does win rate tell you how good you are though?
Some people, yeah. Like, I can go right now. It's like, oh god damn, dude. Airweaver got 70% win rate on 3 different characters in top 10. Dude's a fucking beast. But it's like,
or he just knows when to queue properly.
A little bit of both. No, Airweaver's good.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to talk down. I'm just saying high win rates are usually a combination of being able to just play efficiently, play well, and know when to queue. If you play well and you just queue whenever, then you're going to have still a low, like, 50 to 60% win rate.
And I think the other thing, and this is, I specifically disagree with Rin here on the win trader thing. I mean, solo queue, yeah, everybody knows the win traders in solo queue. But in light party in the past, you get these, like, 8 people that you've never heard of in your entire life all of a sudden go up 2,000 points in one day, and you look at the leaderboard the next morning, you're like, who the hell is this? And then you see, like, oh, wow, they played 250 games in one sitting and had 50% win rates back and forth. Like, that you wouldn't be able to see, and you can say, like, oh, well, Square Enix will have the data, but they've never done anything with that data. Like, they saw the data of people doing so many fates back in 2.0 that they thought people loved them and put the Atmas in 2.1.
Okay, but it doesn't matter if you can see it or not. Like,
I mean,
it doesn't matter for you in terms of win trading.
Well, I mean,
like,
okay. So can you see how many games they won, or can you see just the straight stats? They won this many, they lost this many. They just don't show the percentage, or do you know?
You can just calculate the percentage.
I mean, yeah, yourself. If you could just calculate the percentage yourself, then it doesn't matter. It just gets away of an over obvious stat. Someone has to pull out, like, a calculator or something, or use rough calculations, right, to figure that out. And they're like, oh, it's about 50% or whatever. And then it doesn't matter as much anymore. Or are they going to make it to where you only see their rating now? You don't see any kind of other win-loss stats at all.
See, I'm kind of in the middle of the two of them, actually. The way I see it, I'm going to just say my piece here. The way I see it, win rates in solo queue specifically, yes, you can tell who's good, for sure. Like, Airweaver was a great example. He's a great player. You know, he can get 8 to 10 ults. I don't even know if he wanted to. He could have a great win rate. Other times that win rate is used to kind of gloat. Do you know what I mean? Like, just it's normal. It's normal. But I've never really had such a, I don't know, high high value in a win rate. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I have an 85% win rate, but I can't, like, I'm a melee and I can't LB properly. I always miss my LB, for example. Just to me, it's not really a reflection of skill as much as, you know, the actual application of it. Like seeing you in the field, be like, hey, you know what? You kicked my ass. You deserve that win rate. You know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents on that, on the win rate. People love to gloat about it, and that's fine. You know, it's natural. But don't think that other people like are automatically fascinated with you just because you have a huge win rate.
So you have such a big win rate.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Also, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Also, to kind of go back to what Stefan is saying, when you're saying like, okay, you want this to be kind of being pushed towards the, you know, you're saying like Square Enix has said like, oh, they want to kind of take feast in this PvP or in this like esports direction, right? And they're taking away a lot of the competitive aspects away by doing stuff like hiding the win percentage. The reason why I disagree with that again is because esports comes in phases, okay? And like I've seen this mistake happen with a lot of esports titles. You can't just you can't make something a S tier like esport right off the bat, right? Like there are stages. You have to take like steps. So while like in the grand sense that seeing something like win-loss and stats and all, like, you know, when you go watch an esports stream for League of Legends, for example, they have all these stats, like you can see, like they'll have overlays for players and teams of win-loss, kill stats, assists, and like all these different statistics. It did not start that way though, right? It developed that way over years, or over 5-6 years. You have to kind of start somewhere. You kind of start at the grassroots level. So it's like right now Feast is in the grassroots stage. There's not enough people for us to say that it's this major competition, it's this major sport. Right now we're in the stage where we're still trying to grow the overall participation. We're still trying to get new blood into the game. And so for do that, you have to more focus on it in a way where you're encouraging new players to play. You want to have less things that are intimidating that will because you want to increase participation. And once you increase participation, then you can focus on developing more, you know, tools and like stuff like that, like, you know, showing the competitiveness of it a little bit more, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, and I see what you're saying. I don't think that that's really what's happening here. Like, if like it's fair to say like, oh, we're not there yet, like they need to develop more, but to say like this is just a stepping stone, I mean I think it's a, you know, taking a step in the wrong direction. If you want to be more competitive, I mean, one of the big things that makes esports successful for a lot of games is the player recognition, right? Like they develop fans based off certain players, and if you can't identify, or if you're taking away a specific identifier that people use to say, hey, this guy's good, like this guy is not only the top player on the data center, but he's also got an 85% win rate, like it just sort of takes that away from you, you know? And
I'm having fun here, guys. Just
I don't think that we're
swinging.
Progressing. I don't think that we're progressing, right? Because you can't say like, oh, they're gonna come out with, you know, like advanced like player stat sheets with like your KDA, your average damage, your healing per match. We're not moving in that direction, because if they were, they wouldn't be taking this out.
No, it's just like, I think it's like more like it's I just think it's like more minuscule than you're giving it credit for. It's like, I don't need to see that, you know, I don't need to see that Airweaver has a 70% win rate to know that he's a good player, because I can already see that he's in the top 10. Like the players can already see the names of like, here's the top 100, you know, like that's glaringly obvious enough of here is the top 100 people that have the top 100 ratings. Like, well, yeah, it may, in some ways, maybe it is a little bit nicer to see their win percentage, but I don't think that takes away from people being able to see like they're good.
Well,
you know what I mean?
yeah, I'm gonna step in. Let me step in here, just because like when we start talking about this stuff, I do see the point. Like, hey, you have 100 ladder. The win rate really goes into the factor of like, hey, if I see Herp up there, Herp doesn't have a high win rate, but he's played a shitload of games. He's tried really hard, and he's worked his ass off to get to where he's at, I would say. And so I look at his win rate, I'm like, oh, he's not a good player. And then I start talking shit to him. I think that's, honestly, that's kind of a fair thing. If you want to make it to where you're like, hey, this is an undesirable stat, I don't really care about having it up there, then take it off, then that's fine. I mean, the only bad side to any of it is if it means that people who are win trading aren't going to be caught as much, but Square Enix is still going to see that. We just have to put our trust that we don't have to push really hard for something to happen. That would be the only thing that I would see negative out of the situation. I don't care if people want to hide their win rate. If people want to boast on it, they can take a screenshot too. If they have it hidden automatically and they say, hey, you can't show it, take a screenshot, say, hey, here's my dick, and just send dick pics in Tryhard Discord.
Oh boy.
All right. But okay, that's my thoughts. Stefan, I know you're going in there, so let's wrap this topic up real quick. But go ahead and say your last bit here, Stefan.
I mean, I feel like we could go back and forth on this for like a while still. So I'll just agree to disagree. We have different opinions, and that's fine. We can move on.
Okay. Good. All right. Good. I like people arguing on this show. Mateo, your head's really vertical. I consider
it more of a debate. It's not an argument.
It's friendly though.
Yeah, friendly arguing debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mateo.
Yes.
I
tried to say something.
Mateo's just making the Monka's face.
I'm just chilling here, man. No, I've said my piece. Like honestly, like I said, there's two ways you can look at the win rate. There is ways to abuse it. There is way to showcase it. If they want to take it away, they want to take it away. That's their prerogative. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Like I said, I'm in the middle of both. In the end, in my opinion, if it does go esports, if the feast does go esports, it's not going to be solo queue. It will be party based.
Yep.
So I wouldn't get too worried about things like that. That's if you lose together as a team, it's a lot more it's a lot more interesting than losing together. So
because
that's just my point of view.
Team versus team is always even. It doesn't matter what the balance is in the game. It's always even. As it's skill based and what you're skilled at with your jobs and everything else. These guys are more skilled with these jobs than you are with the skill in your jobs. You get to pick whatever. If they pick the same jobs, you can pick those same jobs and fight each other. And so that's going to be where esports actually hits. So we need to make sure that they're supporting this whole team registration thing because that's where they're taking it, right?
I mean, honestly, like the other thing about win rate. Sorry, I'm just kind of going back to really quick is that there's a lot of inflated win rates just because the community is just not that big. Do you know what I mean? Like some people are just miles above others in terms of experience, in terms of skill. And I guess I can kind of see like somebody's new into it. You know what I mean? They're trying to promote new players coming into it and they don't want them being discouraged. Be like, hey, I just faced this amazing player. I'm going to lose against him 9 times out of 10, probably even 10 times out of 10. And showcasing this to the world. Like, yes, I'm a strong person, but I don't really want to, I don't know. I don't want everybody to know. I can see both points. You know what I mean? I can see Stefan's points and I can see Rin's points. I am in the middle when it comes to it. If the win rate does really mean that much, you can show it.
Yeah.
So that's good. If it means that much, you can also not show it.
Yeah.
So that's good. It's an opt-in, and I think opt-in is good.
Yep. And I'll also say, when I was trying out Healer, I was doing pretty good. But then I got 10 games with fucking Uncle Acid in a row, and then my win rate went straight down. So you know what? It doesn't mean I'm a bad player. I just got 10 goddamn games against Uncle Acid. So, anyways, we'll move on. We'll move on here. I want to go into some of these action changes that they're doing, and go into that because they are going to change up the game a good bit. Are you guys ready for that?
Oh hell yeah!
All right. Let's talk about Warrior. Number one Warrior was a meme in solo queue. It's now the top leader of what we think will be a top leader of Structured Light Party, right?
Absolutely. I can briefly kind of comment on that.
Sure.
On Cactor, we actually had a lot of scrim nights. What that means is basically light party. We just kind of put together a couple teams here and there, and by far, Warrior has just been the most overwhelming tank. if your healer is strong enough, for example, it's usually a white mage that can take care of themselves. The warrior can just focus on, deleting people with the other group. So it's just been so overwhelming. I know it doesn't translate as well into solo queue, but it's a whole different beast. With these upcoming changes, I mean, we'll kind of have to see what the recast time is on Thrill of War.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Thrill of War, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Inner release being gone is a good and a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? It's if you do use it before your burst, that's highly predictable. But the bad thing about being gone is that it's basically a fed ward.
Mm-hmm.
And it lasts like 12 seconds or something. I don't even know how long, but it was ridiculous. I wish I had that in 3.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really strong.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. Increase the HP of self and nearby players by 10% and restores 10% of HP. It doesn't seem like a lot, but man, a lot of deaths happen right on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, hey, let's throw this little cushion here real quick, and the burst doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. I feel like it's a little overdone for where Warrior is right now, and people just need to learn how to play Warrior instead of giving them this.
I think that this puts them closer to Dark Knight.
I agree.
Like I think it'll push Warriors ahead in solo queue, I think, or like up to Dark Knight in solo queue.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I mean, I haven't played scrims, so I just have to take Mateo's word on Warrior pre-mage.
And you should, man. Like I'm without even playing it, I can easily see that this is a thing. And right now, light party, you have to bring a warrior. I think that's just going to be it.
Well, like I said, we were kind of chatting before the match. Match.
The match. This is a match between Stefan and Rin. Yeah.
The one match I actually went Paladin. We lost out of the scrims that we were playing. So Paladin is by far the worst tank right now. I mean, looking at those changes, it's going to be kind of interesting for Paladin, but Warrior is just it's basically offense. Before, the meta was, okay, how turtle can you get with Paladin, Machinist, Monk, and White Mage? Mm-hmm. Now it's like, how offense can you get? How deep in their face can you get? Like, overwhelmed, basically. And that's the strategy right now at Light Party. It's going to be a lot of different things going on, too, but we'll see.
Well, here's the thing.
A lot of exploring.
So, again, my criticism towards, Paladin, Dark Knight, and Light Party is that their stuff hits a single target, right? Like, you prevent a lot of damage with a single target. Thrill of War is, like, everybody. And so, like, so if you hit a single target, the group's on there, they're like, okay, he put Blackest Night on there, whatever. I'm going to switch to this other target and kill him, and it's done. This hits everybody, so they can't just target switch as easily. It doesn't avoid it, even though it's like, just 10%, but I mean, it helps the entire situation. It doesn't just help that one person.
How it's implemented, it's going to be huge. If it's tied to gauge, recast, a lot. So definitely.
Yeah.
I think another thing to mention, and this was a pretty big upside of this ability over Paladin in the 3.0 or 3.x PvP system. Thrill of War is a very, very unique and like really, really potent defensive tool because of the way that it registers on your character. So say, for example, you're getting melee LB'd and you get covered or TBN'd, Blackest Night from Dark Knights. There's a chance that melee LB will snapshot and do the damage to you through the shield. Like, because the shield applies too late. But with the HP increase from Thrill of War, you'll just get the HP before you die.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's still a window of time that you can get it after you die, but I mean, it's a lot faster and it registers more smoothly than a shield does.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. So that being said, let's talk about good old Paladin here. Paladin's getting some changes here, which I think are good changes. It does address some issues that people have been complaining about a lot, which is, the mana issue, right? So the Holy Spirit thing, it isn't as punishing to do Holy Spirit anymore because it gives you your gauge. I think that was a huge punishing factor for actually going in and doing your burst with Holy Spirit, was that you're not going to build up your cover gauge, which cover is the mechanic. That's Paladin. Cover is Paladin. And so if you start going away from that, you start to get away from the use that you get out of a Paladin. So being able to build gauge there is wonderful. The second part to this is, goddamn, why can't I do it? our cat, all right, our cat here gets a duration reduced from 10 to 6 seconds. That's whatever. All right,
Requiscat.
Requiscat. I can't do it. Our cat.
I was gonna do it.
No, I'm just saying our cat. You guys know what I'm talking about. Our cat.
I didn't know what you were talking
Really?
about.
You didn't know what our
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say require cat. How about that? We can do require cat too. But yeah, having that duration reduced, it kind of sucks because it makes your burst a little bit less potent. But I'm not the player who cares as much about that. I'm more because those after basically the first 2 casts, I think that's when you get your deciding factor. They know something's happening. Your burst is kind of there, and then you get your additional effect reduces MP cost of all spells to 0. So that means you could do damage and save mana for Clemency, which I think Clemency is still completely garbage. Even with this Clemency, the GCD cost is too much. They should add Oath to Clemency, and then maybe I would care more about it.
I think it should just be OGCD.
Yeah, that's it too. Because Clemency just hurts so much because you can't stun while you're doing it. You can't build your gauge, and it burns mana. But in this case, hey, maybe you can reduce the mana. I mean, the other thing is that you can make it to where you can get 2 really strong heals off, right? Like you can hit this, then spam Clemency 2 times and get someone back up. But that has to be like super premeditated.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say. Like, sort of the setup there is just not really conducive to the gameplay.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Ren, what's your thoughts on all this? Sorry. I haven't been bringing you in.
I didn't chime in much when it comes to like
tanks.
You know, the tank. Yeah, because I don't like to say much on stuff that I don't really know well about, and I don't play tanks enough to like know. I mean, I only have, for example, Dark Knight leveled up.
Mm-hmm.
I have never played Warrior, so I wouldn't be able to shed much insight on it.
Okay, so let's say this. If you're healing, what are your complaints usually against tanks?
Well, right now, I mean, right now, if you're a healer, you pretty much only want Dark Knight on your team. Just because the Blackest Knight is really, really, really good. Warrior is it just kind of feels like it's lacking something. It doesn't feel like it can bring as much pressure. It doesn't feel like it can support you as much as Dark Knight can. And then with Paladin, I'm not sure. Like, Paladin's weird. It's like cover can be kind of good, but it just feels weaker.
It takes skill to use.
TBN's cooldown and everything is just like it's too good right now.
Can I safely say cover in the Discord channel and try hard now?
I think it's
so.
still.
You might as well say Jesus.
Jesus. Oh my God. Cover. It definitely takes a lot more skill to use and to get actually the use out of it.
It does.
But I feel like I don't know, man. Like this. I feel like the changes aren't going to do enough to make Paladin actually come back up there to where you can be on par again with that extra effort you put into it.
What?
Good.
I wish that 3-second stun.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they'd bring that back. That was so key to a Paladin. It was really, really efficient. I mean, in the time that you're doing your peels, you know, you can cast the Clemency or something like that. Now it's like, okay, here's a 2-second. By the time I'm done casting Clemency, you're probably dead. Like, just bring it back. It was a really good niche for Paladin.
I mean, technically, you could do require cat, right? And then you could stun him, and then you can heal after you stun, and maybe it'll be okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my personal problem with this change is that it doesn't really speak to Paladin. Like, Paladin's always been like the control and utility tank.
Exactly.
And this change is sort of like, hey guys, now you do more damage during your Requiscat windows.
Well, it doesn't.
You don't have to worry about the MP cost, right?
It's
like you can sit there. I think their intention is for you to do your Holy Spirit spam while Requiscat's up.
Well, yeah, that's one, right? It doesn't hurt you as much. I think it's supposed to be like, hey, here's your little burst, and then you can still have mana for using Clemency later on. I think is what it is. You're not saving you're not saving your saving your mana just to do damage. That you're actually giving yourself the ability to do clemency as well. I think that's maybe what they were thinking. I don't know if they meant it as, hey, just spam it, and then you get 2 more cast off because of this. But the buff goes away after 2 or 3 cast. So it's like you don't get as strong. I'm not paying attention to chat. No, don't worry.
No. That reaction wasn't from chat.
No, not at all. But no, I don't know if that's what they were intending. I'll play around with it a little bit. I'll see how it works out. Maybe the change where I can get cover more often, because this is totally supporting Holy Spirit. It's saying cast Holy Spirit more because of the oath increase here. So we'll see. But yeah, apoctastasis. There you go. It's done.
Got him.
So all right, Ren, you went through these notes, I'm assuming, for these job changes. And the ones you care about are mostly with White Mage, right? Or is
I don't think there was any White Mage changes, was there?
Exactly. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm fine with it.
You don't feel like there's needed any changes at all?
I mean, White Mage does feel a little bit on the stronger side, I would say. But I think maybe what's more important than taking away from White Mage would be buffing the other 2. Like, I think they could have maybe done a little more. I don't have any experience really playing Astro in PvP. I maybe played like 4 or 5 games in it, and I'm pretty sure I made you. It was either Easy or Tito. And one of them, I was like, I made both of you guys miserable. I think there's a clip of it somewhere where I was trying Astro, and I was like, okay, never again, because I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you wouldn't make me feel miserable. I would just be like, well, I'm probably going to lose. It would have been okay, and I would accept it.
The Joe Madden after the game would be like, oh, well, Rinny sucked here, Rinny sucked here.
The thing is like, White Mage is strong, but I think part of the reason it is really strong right now is when you pair it with Dark Knight. Because like one of the things that I've been seeing like melee players, for example, saying is a lot of the times they don't feel like there's an opportunity for them to use their melee limit break because they're looking at their focus is like status bar, and it's like protect and benison and the Blackest Night. Is just like the combination of all the buffs that you can put on them is just like, where's my opportunity to LB? So I don't know if it's necessarily that it's just White Mage is like super OP. It's just like when you have the right pairing, there's. But I also think they can give Astro and Scholar a little bit more love.
Oh, Astro is about to be insane.
Yeah, let's talk about Astro a little bit here. Why is it going to be so insane here, Stefan?
I mean, let's just look at the abilities they're getting. So first of all, the draw is going away, right? Mm-hmm. And so is deorbit. Thank God. It's the one thread they've listened to from the PvP forums, right?
They've listened to a handful from these changes, man, I think.
I know, but this one in particular, there's like a thread that says like, please remove deorbit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
And they did. And they gave him sleeve draw instead of draw. So draw basically just drew a card, right? And now you get sleeve draw that draws a card, gives you a minor arcana, and restores 1,000 MP.
Yeah.
That's insane, right?
That's pretty ridiculous.
And then we look at the minor arcana, right? So the minor arcana, we have Lord of Crowns, which is a damage effect. It does 1,000 damage up front, and then 250 potency with 15-second duration. And correct me if I'm wrong, like, you guys can tell me I'm retarded, but I think that means that it's 250 potency that ticks once every 3 seconds over 15 seconds.
Yeah,
so
that
it would be
right.
1,250 potency over the duration of the 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. Does that sound right?
That does.
Yeah, so that is a 2,250 potency ability, OGCD, that Astros get to use on a target. Plus, it reduces the amount of HP they recover by 10%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much saying...
That's insane.
Target this person, kill him right now. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. And then you have the Lady of Crowns, which is an OGCD heal. which is one of the things that I think Astra was missing. Because like you have Essential Dignity, but like Essential Dignity sucks like really bad if they're above 50% health. But then Lady of Crowns is a 2500 potency OGCD heal, which is like the same as like a cure, right? So like it's not that strong, but then it gives them a regen, which is 1000 potency every 15 seconds, which is basically 5000 potency, which is I think like a cure 2
Yeah, well,
or a benefit 2.
every
But
15.
it's like a regen. It's like a regen basically.
Yeah.
So like I feel like my personal opinion, right? These are the things that Astra was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got the regen sort of to make up from not having Diurnal Sect anymore. They have OGCD abilities now that are actually impactful. And like Sleeve Draw is just so good because of that mana, the MP restore. Because then you don't have to rely on Ewer anymore. If you pull a Ewer, that's just like a bonus. Plus you do have Minor Arcana. So if you draw, use your Minor Arcana, then you can just turn the card that you just drew along with your Sleeve Draw into a second Minor Arcana if you don't need to use it. So they are finally giving you a little bit of utility with your card draw, or a little bit of choice with your card draws.
Yeah. Which is good. Right? That's the thing. You can't play RNG as much in PvP and be, an efficient healer. Oh, we're being healed right now. I hope I get the right stuff, right? So this gives you a little bit more control, right?
Okay, that's Uncle Acid is calling me retarded in chat. Apparently, draw already gives you MP. I didn't know that.
It's okay, but it still is pretty powerful. I mean, they added more effects. This is like we took away draw and then we put in an advanced draw, right? Am I wrong?
Basically.
Okay. I don't know why they had to change it and rename it.
So sorry, it's like kind of a tangent, but like I was curious, what are usually the cards that Astros prioritize? Like, so obviously, like when you're in raid, you prioritize like, balance and spread, and you want to spread, balance, whatever. What is the, I guess, card prioritization in Feast?
I have no clue.
Does anyone know?
Ewer is a big
No?
one too, isn't it?
Well, like,
If
yeah,
you-
Ewer makes. I think I remember seeing that on Corey's stream where she was trying to get an Ewer for yourself, but I don't know.
I think you're usually fishing for that.
Okay.
Bowl is pretty good. Balance, of course.
So bowl is actually good in Feast.
Well, I mean, if
that's true.
targets don't switch, right?
No.
Yeah, if they don't change who they're attacking, which is the same thing that I have a complaint with Paladins and Dark Knights versus Warrior, still in that same situation, as if you have competent players who know how to switch, then what does Bowl do besides make you switch targets?
I mean, yes and no. Like sometimes, yeah, it will do nothing for you because like it's just a switch. But sometimes if you if you really do not want that person to be targeted and it is better for the other person to be targeted, then that's fine, right?
Yeah. I guess so.
Say your melee, for example, has a 1 stack of medals and your ranged does not. And so you put Bowl on the melee and they swap, which is like, yeah, in a way you're like, okay, in a way you kind of feel like, oh yeah, my Bowl kind of got wasted, but then they're not focusing the person that has more medals now.
That's right. Yep.
But the point is that it's so easy to kill someone with a ward. It doesn't matter if they have 1 stack or 0 stacks. They're gonna die no matter what.
That's exactly it. That's true too.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right. Let's go on a little bit more here. Some of these other changes. There's lots of changes. I don't know if we're gonna hit every single one. Do you guys have other changes here that stand out a lot to you?
Yeah.
Okay, go King.
The machinist ones are bad.
The flamethrower, you don't like that?
They took out report. I don't think
Yeah,
it replaces
exactly.
report.
Yeah.
There was very few reasons to pick machinist over the other range DPS already, and this just sort of put several nails into its coffin.
Yeah, but they get a flamethrower.
You have to stand still and channel it, and it doesn't do that much damage.
But it looks cool.
It's kind of like you have a big 1 over your head. Okay, you can burst me now. I'm just gonna stand still, squeeze fire for a bit. Like
We just stun him.
yeah,
It erupts it.
Yeah, actually, I know somebody was asking in PvE. I don't know if you get stunned or something like that, incapacitated in some way. You still you're still the flamethrower is still going. I don't know if that's gonna be a thing in PvP.
Mm-hmm.
That would help, but probably not.
Yeah. The connection dropped there for a bit. I don't know if it's going to come back. I'm waiting on it.
It seems to be whenever I talk.
Yeah. Basically, when you start talking, it's like, oh, nope, done. You shouldn't have talked so much crap. Yeah, it's like it came back for a second, then it dropped back down to 0. I think it's like edging there at the very end. Next MogTalk, I'm going to have a completely different internet. It's done. I can't I can't do it anymore. I don't know why it's so bad.
I think all the rest of these changes are pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
One I'm actually kind of interested in is Red Mage. Having Vercure seems kind of interesting. Like it's useful. Do you know what I mean? Like let's say
Mm-hmm.
It's a GCD that's as powerful as like a regen tick, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's weaker than Clemency.
Oh,
Put it
okay.
that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something that it's nice, but it's not like groundbreaking.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Vercure. I mean, this is all stuff while the internet's going down and everything. Hey, dog. But anyways, I feel like Vercure is going to be. It's going to be enough to where you're like, hey, they're attacking someone. Let me just automatically throw a heal on them. All right, throw something in their direction, and it just makes things a little bit harder. Because 1500 potency, it's not that strong. That's all right. All right.
I'm looking at this ninja buff here. That's actually really, really, really nice. It's a quality of life improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Time required to execute Shikuchi has been reduced. That's really, really good.
Sakuchi?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Shikuchi? I think so.
Sakuchi? That sounds like a ghetto term that you would say for someone who got around or something.
What?
Sakuchi? Look at that Sakuchi.
I would not think.
I don't know. That's what I thought of the first thing.
That's a new and improved Frosty.
No, that's exactly.
I've heard some things.
Okay. Let's see. I'll tell him to refresh. Maybe frame droppy. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna have this on a completely different internet next week, and then we'll just see if that works. I'm so depressed. I haven't had a good show since, or I haven't had not a good show, but I haven't had a stable show since I moved to this new house.
Yikes.
Yeah. Time required to execute this action has been reduced. All right. So I guess that could kind of work out pretty well, though. I'm not very familiar with Ninja to be able to say, hey, that's going to make or break it, or, I mean, they're already pretty strong.
Faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Shikuchi will make you go to where you need to go faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
You won't kind of linger around and take hits while you're supposed to be somewhere else, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think the big change, though, is Dragoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in there for Dragoon.
Yeah. Well, basically what can be boiled down to is they took out Litany and give you Dragon Sight, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is a better buff. Right? Let me switch to my Dragoon real quick. I'm in game. Litany is 5% for everybody in your party, but Dragon's Eye is 10% to you and a target, or you and whoever's closest, I guess. But it's if it's you and then the range guy comes and hits with you, or even if it's on a warrior, that's still better than giving 5% to your healer. And then what they did to make up for this was they reduced the potencies of Gariskoglu and Nistrand, and reduced the debuff on Skewer. But they're also able to be used more frequently because the Life of the Dragon change in PvE is being changed in PvP too. So now it just requires 3 of your Dragon Sights instead of 4, which means they're going to be Nistranding a lot more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Missing a lot more frequent? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, they still didn't fix that issue.
They said they were going to work on it. I don't know if that in this patch they might have a change on there, but they just didn't say anything. Right?
No.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's great for Dragoons actually. I'm getting tired of seeing Samurai. I mean, for melee
Yeah.
myself, I prefer Monk. Like that's my go-to. I didn't want to play it when it was just stupid. Like it was just completely broken. Samurai's kind of at that point right now where it's pretty broken. Like Shinten is really really strong, and so is the count. Sorry, not the counter. The dash. Like get that thing on a 30-second cooldown or something. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think the stream is like a little bit better now too. I mean, they could hear us for a lot of that, but it was just like the frame. Everyone's pictures, everyone's webcam just got frozen every couple of times. You know, I think Mateo's and Rin's are still frozen, but like.
Oh.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, of course. Samurai. All right, Tinka Goten. Is that how you say it? Tinka Goken. Now requires a target. Is that the one where you run away?
No, that's
No.
that's their 2 send move.
Oh, okay.
That does like the cone knockback.
Okay.
It's so random. Like who?
Yeah,
Like
it's not a
when
big
would you
deal
use
at
that?
Yeah. When,
I've been totally screwed over by it once. It was
Oh,
like
really?
the most clutch play I've ever seen from a samurai. Yeah, it interrupted one of my casts, and it ended up killing me.
well, now he's going
Oh,
to target
my
you
God.
before he does it. So.
No, he didn't do that. I was running around the tree, and he lined it up so that when I came around one of the circles of the tree, it just hit me.
Smart.
Yeah,
Nicely
totally
done.
screwed me over.
Yeah, that's a good samurai there. All right.
Mhm.
Repelling shot now can bind. Do you think that's going to be pretty useful?
More
Yeah,
CC is
I
always
mean,
good.
Mhm.
It's a good like self peel for Bard.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, if they're running away.
You can just run up to somebody, repelling shot out to bind them in place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, just in general, just great.
Yeah. Okay. We already talked about all these other changes here, except for Bard gain Troubadour, right? Let's see. Adds
Yeah,
an additional fact. Go ahead.
That I was actually kind of wondering if that's going to be AOE, or if it's going to be just yourself or somebody else. I know Nikoza, he's a Bard friend of mine that plays Bard exclusively. He was kind of wondering on that too.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I think Bard's all the better for it. So
Yeah. No, that seems like it's gonna. I mean, it's just 5%, but I mean, hell, man, 5% is 5%. Instead of getting someone down to 10 health, you'll kill him.
But a thing to point out that I think is very important is that Bard is losing Battlefield March, which is the MP restore, just like Report.
exactly.
So you're still going to be taking Summoners or Black Mages.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Not to play it up, but like the main strength of Bard and Machinist was that they could restore MP.
Right.
And, like now that it's gone, like Summoner does more damage, Black Mage has more control.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think Black Mage is
burst.
going to be pretty successful, simply for control and burst, mainly because, again, if we're dealing with really high burst damage with warriors and everything else in the in-game meta, you're kind of healers are going to run out of mana pretty quickly, right? So it's going to be crucial that if you can't get mana, you're not going to bring, again, a Bard or a Machinist. You're just going to sit there and take whatever can burst as much damage and stop damage from going out, which I think would be a Black Mage. Am I crazy for thinking that, or?
I think Black Mage, and people are going to disagree or agree with me, but like I think Black Mage and Summoner are pretty equal and each have their own strengths and weaknesses. But like I feel like Summoner definitely puts out more pressure, whereas Black Mage is a bit more opportunistic. Where, like they'll just create situations where like you're just totally fucked. Like they'll build up some burst, like sleep the healer, then quickly swap back to a target and drop a foul on it.
Mm-hmm. Drop a.
Yeah, I think Summoner.
That sounds like a. Go ahead.
I think Summoner is better at just general pressure because you can dot everyone and kind of stuff like that. Like the damage is a little more spread out, whereas with Black Mage, the damage is more bursty. If you time sleeps really well, that could be devastating for the other team. Like it happened to me in a game today. I don't know if I'd say I think they're kind of equal, but I do think Black Mage is a little stronger. Personally, but yeah.
All right.
Just I think because of sleep, pretty much.
Yeah, sleep does a lot. And man, every time I get slept in a game, I'm just like, this is stupid. But then again, like, you have to have a team that can coordinate, which again is Light Party, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I will admit it is hard to say that, like, you know, how good Black Mage actually is on Aether, because we don't really have any good Black Mages, but we do have good summoners.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know they're a good summoner? Because they do good damage?
Yeah.
Well,
They do good damage. They do it at the right time.
They combo bursts with their melee.
no.
Yeah.
Summoner's always pumping out damage too, though. It's
Yeah.
like constantly pumping out damage.
I mean, you can instantly. Summoner is easy to like inflate your numbers, and like the meaningful damage really isn't there. Is the one thing that I'm just saying, right?
Yeah,
Here's
you
the
can
thing,
bump
though.
your numbers, but I
Yeah.
mean, putting dots on everyone is still annoying. Like, it's still like the healer still has to be mindful of it.
Mhm.
More so now than before, because before, you know, you just regen Medica 2 stack, no big deal. Here it's like, you know, you have just regen, but like your GCDs are so valuable as a healer. Like sometimes you just can't get regen on everybody. So like the dots do just kind of add up over time if they're not dealt with.
Mhm. All right.
I've had that happen to me.
Summoner energy drain recast increased from 1 to 3 seconds. Do you guys think that's going to make a huge difference?
I mean, if they're doing like a double energy drain burst, I guess. So you guys, that's like the super quick burst, right? Like I'm not a summoner player, but I think you fester ED, and then go right into Dreadworm.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
I guess
spammy.
this prevents that, yeah.
Okay.
No more Angela
So I
special.
guess. Well, I know. Well, I mean, I just think it's not going to be as quick because now with this change, you would go fester, energy drain, fester, probably, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that makes
Fester's
more
a 5
sense.
second cooldown. So it'd be just slightly more damage in a longer window.
I don't think it's going to hurt them much at all, to be honest with you.
No.
They'll still have the damage when they need it. You know what I mean? Maybe just missing like one OG CD there, and that's not that big of a deal. It's not. I don't think it's going to hit them too hard.
Yeah. Okay. Red Mage here is one of the last ones we got in this list. Who is that?
Boy.
Sorry, guys.
I was like,
I have no idea what that was.
I was trying to get in, dude.
yeah, somebody wants to talk to you. That's all right. So the Red Mage is going to get their mana, their white and red mana back, or I'm sorry, white and black mana back faster, right? So they're going to be able to pump out more burst more often. And we got Restore Mana here, Restore MP, Restore TP. We got TP cost reduced, duration changed to 10 seconds, free cast time increased from 10 to 45 seconds. What is, the mono, okay, I gotcha, the mono MacMe or whatever it's called. How do you say that?
Basically, they monomaki.
Monomaki? Okay, I can go with that. Alright. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, so basically what they're doing is they're making it a cooldown that you actually have to like use intelligently instead of just putting it on somebody permanently.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
like that.
that's good. They should be doing that. Corpse of Corpse. Reduce the cast time by 5 seconds if used on a target suffering from Monomaki. Yeah. Effect inflicted by you. Okay. And okay, so all right, so Corpse of Corpse and Displacement both get a reduced cast time if it's used on a target that you're trying to burst on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can deal with that. Monomaki. Yeah. So do you guys think Red Mage might come back, or is it still going to be Summoner Black Mage?
Red Mage has actually become more popular lately. Just I think when I started playing, everyone was like, "Oh, Red Mage sucks. Red Mage is like people wouldn't want to get Red Mage on their team," and everybody was saying it was weaker. But lately, I feel like in the last couple of weeks, people have been saying actually Red Mage is pretty strong.
Really?
So,
I think that's just because Horo is playing Red Mage.
I don't know if it's just Horo, but I think people underestimate it a little bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it does certainly take more skill.
yeah,
That's one thing it does have going for it than the other range jobs. especially when your burst is pretty obvious if you choose to make it that way, right? Like you just kind of dash into melee range or something like that.
Yeah.
Good luck. You're ranged.
Yes, the red mage is like the scholar of casters because I
Mhm.
think like scholar has a higher skill ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the thing is too that needs to be understood is like there's nothing like inherently wrong with red mage. It's just that whatever it can do, somebody else can do better.
Yeah,
That's true.
it is true. It is true.
Except now they can cure. Now they can cure. So
now they can't cure,
Saving grace. Saving grace.
and they can burst more often. That's true too.
yeah, their burst is weak. So
Yeah, it's still well. Okay, you're right. I won't fight that too much. There is, besides all these changes, there is some other general changes to PvP that we do need to hit upon. We already hit upon the training match a little bit, but the one we didn't talk about, which is really surprising, I thought we would have talked about this, is the amount of PvP experience received from PvP duties has increased.
I just read that.
Yeah.
that's PvP experience is rank experience.
Uh,
What you get from the PvP challenge logs.
oh, what?
Yeah, it's not actual experience.
Yeah, I think player experience is the terminology they use for
Oh,
regular PvE
okay.
stuff.
Okay. Received from PvP duties has increased. Because everybody was really upset about this. Is that just because they were as confused as I was about the terminology?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I skimmed it once and I'm like, oh, wait, that's not good. And then, just like Stefan, I kind of came to the same conclusion.
Okay, because it wouldn't make sense because they reduced it. Now they would increase it again. Seems like kind of odd. All right. The match progress window will no longer become active when entering a PvP area or returning to a home point after being incapacitated in a feast.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. Does anyone know what that means?
Same.
The
Trying to
match
decipher
progress
it.
window will no longer become active when entering a PvP area. All right.
Progress window, like the medals or what?
I think the match progress window is it's like the score screen where you can see how many
Oh,
medals
right.
each person has. That's
Yeah,
the
so-
match.
Yeah. So if you're like one of those mongoloids that turns it off, now you don't have to turn it off each match. It'll just stay off.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, I guess.
Who turns it off? Jesus. Okay.
It's always on in the same place for me. Like I don't set it and forget it the first day.
Yeah, I can't even
Anyway.
imagine it. Like I have to be able to see it so I can analyze the situation, know what I need to do. Sound effect for when using quick chat option retreat has changed. Good.
Dude, I really hope it's just like some phonetic, right? Like an announcer, like one of those announcer packs.
Back the fuck
Get
up.
the fuck out! Yeah, like
Or it'd be like the runaway little girl thing that uses in WoW. Yeah, that would be very interesting to see. I hope it's something like an air horn.
dude, that's Square Enix Smog Station idea. Let's get some announcer packs for quick chat. I'd buy
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
You know
no,
what?
it could, good.
Actually, on the topic of quick chat and the sound effects from it, like sometimes I watch like JP streams and things like that, and just it's constantly popping off. It's like I can't handle it. It's like everyone attack, blah blah blah, retreat. Like it's so. I'm at the point where it triggers me. Like that stupid fucking quick chat. Like it's so
The noise
like
stuff, yeah.
obnoxious. Yeah, it's so obnoxious, but it's part of the game, so whatever, I'll deal with it. But it's...
Maybe if you just learn what the sounds mean, right? You just like get it in your head. You're like, you don't even have to look at chat anymore. You just react to the sounds. Oh, this is fallback time. Oh, this is go attack the melee time. It has a special sound effect for it. And
No, what I'll do is I'll switch to DATs for it. So exactly, the retreat that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I'll put Stefan's voice, just say, "Get the fuck back!" Like that's what I'll do.
and then like you could make the low mana be one and be like, I'm out of mana, just like really loud.
I'm out of mana.
Yeah, exactly.
From the Magic Missile video.
Well, honestly, sometimes those damn like the quick chats, either people don't read them, or they just don't, I don't know, pay attention in some way or another, right? So they just serve the purpose of annoying you in a way, right? So
Here's a passing thought, right? What do you guys think if instead of it just appearing in the chat box, right?
Mhm.
You ever played WoW? You've seen like the raid warnings.
Yeah.
So what happens is it does the sound effect, and it's like up in the middle of your screen. It says the text.
Yeah.
So what if like up like above your character it just said fall back?
That's
So, like
really smart.
then you
actually.
see it in the middle of your screen. You don't have to look at the chat. It's like if you're not paying attention to the chat box, like you see it right there.
You'd have to be able to adjust it though, and be able to put it on your screen where you want it to go, and be able to just kind of customize that a little bit, like just the quick chat, little box that just dedicates to a part of the screen. Yeah, I'd be down for that, 100%.
That's great.
Of course, you can turn it on and off, but like I look at like PS4 players, for example, whenever they stream Feast, and like I don't know if it's the default or if they can change it, but their chat box is always like so little
It's
and
tiny.
tiny. Like they can see like one line of text. So it's like if somebody does a command, like a quick chat command, and then somebody like picks up medals or something or picks up a buff, like it automatically gets bumped off of their chat box.
Yeah.
By the new text.
If we're supporting quick chat, which that's the way this game is going, we need to improve upon it like that. Yeah, I would say
It's
so.
been over a year since I made my thread.
It's done. It is. It's 100.
it's over,
We have
yeah.
gotten a
It's out.
straight, flat-face answer. If no, this is just not going to happen. We may change it in like organized matches or something in the future, but for solo queue, it's gone. It's never coming back.
Yeah, well,
Maybe voice
it kind of
chat.
goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where it wouldn't be as detrimental, having having chat removed if there was just more like tools to like educate the players of like how what they should be doing and like things like that. Then it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But like a lot of the frustration that like a lot of the veterans players have, it stems from like not being able to effectively communicate some of the things that they want to communicate through the quick chat. Like even though there are a lot of quick chat options, like some of the stuff you want to communicate, you just can't. It's a lot harder. But if they did implement stuff like tutorial videos, like a more barrier, like a little more like a I guess like a more of like a progression, like leading into ranked games where you're actually kind of learning stuff, then it wouldn't be as bad. Like I think it's just like the reason people get frustrated about chat being removed is because it's harder to teach players things, right? But if you implement that, then it wouldn't be an issue. So
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and I get these situations a lot where people will overstack and they don't realize that I cannot heal them. If a tank gets 7 stacks, I had it just yesterday, a bard got 4 stacks and somehow he didn't die. Like I need that quick chat command. I just need to be able to tell them like, hey man, kill yourself.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
yeah,
But it's getting the message
I
across.
feel it.
He needs to go die, right? Like it's not.
That would be the smart decision for him, so you can get those medals back in a logical way and redistribute it around there. But yeah, it shouldn't be in that way. For sure.
It's just
What's wrong with that?
I always feel bad. Like I actually had an instance lately where I was in a match and I had a tank that was continuously picking up medals, and so I had to I marked them as ignore, and then I used the quick chat like get the medals, and then mark them as ignore. I'm trying to tell them like stop picking up medals, and I felt bad because like I know players feel like when you use quick chat like that, or if you use the like markings and stuff like that, people are thinking that you're flaming them. Whereas like I was just trying to communicate that I just don't want you to do that. So I adopted Corey's method of I had a level 1 account on this person's server. So I hopped on to the other server and I messaged them. I was like, hey, like I'm sorry about the quick chat and the signs. Like I wasn't trying to berate you at all. I was just trying to you're limited in our options. I was just trying to and then I explained to him like you don't want to overstack medals because it's harder for me to heal you and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, okay. Like a lot of people just don't know like what we think should be common sense. A lot of these newer players, they just don't know. So if that's what I'm saying, like they just need to implement more like more guides and just like stuff that'll make these things like less of an obstacle.
Yep. No, I agree completely. Be careful with that though. I think that could be termed as harassment.
It can.
If you make a level 1 character and you go to another server to talk to someone after a match.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, if
Yeah.
you flame them.
No, even if you don't flame
No.
them.
Oh.
they will say, hey, you're trying to be whatever, and you're trying to the way you're talking could be taken the wrong way or something. It's like, it's true. But
yeah, I guess.
sarcasm
always,
in goddamn
I
America, man.
I try to always be really careful and be like really friendly and just like, oh, that's why like I was like, oh, I'm sorry if it came off this way. I was just trying to explain it. But yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're careful about it. I've given
Always
You're always careful. Okay. Good. Just like you carefully left Gilgamesh.
Wow.
Just figured I'd throw that out there real quick. Why did you leave Gilgamesh? You just got tired?
No. I mean, it was a hard decision. I mean, I was on Gilgamesh for 3 years, and originally when I transferred, I was actually originally from Fairy. And the reason I transferred to Gilgamesh from Fairy was because, like I said, like my priority was raiding, and I knew Gilgamesh was really good for raiding, and that's why I transferred. But for me, it came down to basically like PvP. I've been really active in the PvP community now, and I'd say kind of the largest chunk of the PvP community on Aether is on Cactar. And because there's the cross-world party finder and like Discord, I feel like it matters a lot less what server you're actually on, because like I don't actually interact with my friends as much in game anymore, right? Like I talk to them on Discord, and it's like my raid group actually my raid group has 2 people on Cactar, has 1 person on Zalera, and then 4 people on Gilgamesh. So it's becoming a little more relevant what server you're actually on, because they're adding all this crossworld stuff. So I just figured if I'm, putting an equal amount of time into PvE and PvP, I may as well go to a PvP server, because PvP kind of has less downtime. Because like right now, a lot of my PvE friends are raid logging and stuff like that, so they're not on as much.
Makes sense to me, man. All right. So I think that's kind of all the notes that I can see here in the patch. I mean, there's some other stuff. The job requirement to spectate custom matches have been changed. So from any job or any class at level 30 or above, great. I don't think it matters as long as you get invited to the group for the spectation. It doesn't.
I think the restriction before is you had to be max level.
I don't know why you would need any restriction at all. I mean, honestly,
you're technically entering the match.
Well,
so I think it's just how the back end works.
Yeah. Well, then that's fine. Then if that's just how the back end works, I'm glad they did it. I don't care if they made it to where level 1 could get in the game, if that was something that was possible, because it wouldn't matter, because you're controlling the group anyways, right?
Yeah, no, it's this, and now correct me if I'm wrong, Mateo, but like before you had to be max level to spectate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like now you only have to be level 30 to spectate.
Yeah.
They're doing the same change that they did with the feast, right? So like they're just putting the Stormblood PvP changes into spectating as well.
Exactly. It should have been there from the start, but it's here now, so.
All right. So we're hitting about 2 hours, so I'm going to get in some questions here. And I'm going to tell people, if you want to, I'm going to try to get some people on air. We'll experiment with it. We haven't really done it too much. Join into the Discord here. There is a chat channel called Call Lobby. If you join that one, I'll know that you want to get in there. I'll move you to the green room before we actually get you into the actual show or on the stream. And then, I have to trust you too. If you're some random person I don't know, you might not get in over someone I might know. Just letting you know. But just join that real quick and we'll start pulling people in. And I'm expecting someone to join in there. All right? Yeah, there we go. I see somebody in there. All right.
Tell me I let him down.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to say. But I do want to get, while we're waiting, I want to get a question off here that we did have way earlier in the show. I can't rely on this document as much as I used to because people fake their names all the time here. Nepu. Okay, here's one that's probably real. This is for everyone. What do you think about alts in general? Alts, I guess, in PvP. Is it really that bad, or is it okay? Is it good?
Only if it's Nepu or Nepkir or Nepi or Nep. Any kind of Nep. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, they're all the same person, right?
I mean, I feel like we talked on this topic earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's I don't think like it's like a really really bad thing if they add a little more restrictions to it. Like I do think right now it is too easy to make an alt, and it may hurt some of the lower rank matches. And in terms of the rewards for the top 100, I know a lot of the players that like are say like ranks 80 to 100, they get a little more stressed out because they're really fighting for their spot in the top 100, and then there's like people that have like 3 characters on it, and it's kind of like, do you really need the rewards on 3 characters? I personally wouldn't do it, because I feel like it's nicer if like more people get the rewards, but I don't think it's like a huge deal.
Right.
Yeah, and my thing with alts, I don't really care about the rewards, which is I guess like sort of a rarity, because most people, their point is more like Rin's, where it's like, you have a guy that has 6 characters in the top 100, he's technically screwing out 5 other people that would be in top 100. And I don't really care so much about that as I do about matchmaking, and where so I can elaborate a little bit. I don't like it when I queue up and I'm against a really good, like for me it's a healer. So say I'm against another really good healer, and if we were both on our mains, the matchmaking would have given us even teams. Maybe they're better than me, and so I would have gotten the better team. But because they're playing on, their gold ranked alt, they are, an equally matched or better healer playing on an alt, plus they have the better team while I'm trying to climb up in the ranks. That's the part I don't like, and that's not really the person's fault. It's just like the fault of the system. We're in a strange situation where we have enough of we have like a growing community, but it's still not big enough where you won't feel the ripples of that, right? So like that guy playing in that role, playing on his alt, like anybody that queues up during that time is gonna be facing him. Like you can't avoid those people unless you just don't play during those times.
Yeah. Sorry about my dogs, by the way. They were excited about something. So I brought in Mr. Biggs here. Biggs has been on the show a few times. Hey Biggs, how you doing?
What about yourself?
Doing pretty good, dude. How's life?
Same old.
Same old. Are you kind of salty? Did Stefan do you proud?
He's been too positive. He's being too positive.
He's being too positive. Come on,
yeah,
man.
What's going
on? Dude,
it's a good match, man.
It's good. He's happy about Rival Wings, man.
Fuck Rival Wings.
Oh my god.
The new MOBA-esque PvP game mode.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Mobile, I agree with, yeah.
Biggs, I got something I want to ask you. Before I ask you that, do you have something that you like were just dying to talk about?
Yeah, okay. So, this hiding win rate business, okay? How the GMs will still be able to do their job, they'll still be able to stop the win traders. Name me one win trader they've stopped without help from us doing most of the work, pointing out all this shit, giving them all the evidence. It's okay, I'll wait.
Yeah, I can't name it because if we didn't notice it, that's the other thing I can
exactly.
throw that.
Having the win rate is a tool that the players have used to notice these people, especially in light party, mostly light party, you could say. So, yeah, it being removed, saying it's fine, I don't totally agree with it. It'll help mostly for the the true shitters, but for the cheaters, it's just going to help them out.
No, that's the scary part, is that it might help out the cheaters just being a little bit less obvious.
100%.
And the community's going to be a little bit less vigilant about it, but I mean, we shouldn't have to be vigilant about it. I mean, that's a whole nother issue and a whole nother level, I think.
That's the problem. We have to, because they don't do their job.
Well, see, man, Biggs is like the negative Nancy. All right, Rin, battle. I
don't see I just don't like, I don't like focusing on like the negative energy on that kind of stuff, because it's just like, I don't think it gets us anywhere, honestly. Like, even if his point is valid, like I don't think it's pushing us forward as a community. Like,
if it was season 1 or 2, I'd have your positivity, but it's not.
And that's fine, but it's like, I just think it's like, I mean, I'm all about just kind of like, I just think it's like, I would rather focus my energy on like coming up with ideas of things that like can help. Like that's why like when I created my thread on the forums, I was just like, that's why before I posted it, I was like, I want to try to come up with ideas of like preventative measures and stuff like that so that we don't have to just rely on like the reporting system and stuff like that. It's just like I don't see the point in focusing all my energy on the negatives. And while like hiding the win rates could in a way like encourage win traders, I don't think it's going to make as big of a difference than what people are thinking is what I was saying.
Yeah, I think I do think that it won't matter as much because in the end, we've already seen from our side, our jaded point of view is that it doesn't matter anyways. Something might happen eventually, but it's not going to, I don't know, make it more evident because even when things are evident and we're like, hey, this is super obvious, things don't happen. At least we don't feel like it does, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess my argument to that would be, I mean, then what's the positive benefit of this? I mean, people won't get harassed over their win rate. I mean, they don't already. I mean, there's only one or two players I think.
Don't know anyone who has been harassed. Like they
Yeah.
get shit talked on the Discord. I might be like, oh, look at this silver player with 500 matches, and he's still silver with a 30% win rate. But fucking who? They're clearly not on the Discord.
Maybe this happens in Japan. Where's our Japanese representative?
Where's Koyan?
Yeah. Maybe he can tell us exactly how it is over there and if that actually happens. All right, Biggs. I'm going to make you go on a positive note here. All right? All right, you ready? You ready for the positive note? Tell me about the Chaos Cup. Tell me about the Chaos Cup and how it's going.
Postponed because custom matches has been postponed.
Okay.
Good job, Square Enix. That's
No,
not
it hasn't.
positive.
Come on, Biggs.
It's coming
It's
on
not-
Tuesday, actually.
I don't think custom
4.15
matches
I
are,
read. It's not there 4.1. They
Is
messed
it
up
not?
again.
How do you know?
I'm pretty sure I read that it's for 4.1. Yeah, like the recent things here. It's
It's not in the notes.
Not there.
hold on, I think I saw it
the
somewhere.
thing, I can't remember who it was. Someone linked me something on the Discord, and they sent me something saying it's been postponed to 4.15. And they said, sorry, I take it the Chaos Cup's postponed. I went, well, yeah, of course it is then. If that's postponed, obviously the Cup's postponed. Apparently, yeah, it's not there for 4.1. It's 4.15 crosswalk customs, from what I've been told.
I don't know, man. I guess we'll find out on Tuesday, right? For sure?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Biggs, tell me... You know what? I'm going to give you a challenge. Here's a challenge for Biggs right now. Biggs, tell me something positive right now about PvP. No, you can't tinge any negative in there. There can't be a single drop of negative in your statement.
Okay, the positive thing is everyone's now seen Donut Duck for the cunt ears.
The what?
What?
Cunt ears. It's a guy at Chaos who's made about 4 ults to make people in the top 10 lose games. Now everyone sees him for the twat ears. That's the positive thing. Everyone else sees him for how he is.
Oh my god, it's still negative. Oh, okay, come on. It's impossible. Impossible. All right. Biggs, you got anything else here on this call that you want to put out there?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Cheers. We all felt the salt. We all need. The steak's gonna taste a little bit better now, right?
Stefan, step it up.
All right, get out of here, Biggs. I'm kicking you out. I'm gonna put you back general. See you, dude.
Bye, Biggs.
Ciao.
Bye, Biggs.
All right, that was Biggs. Anyone else that wants to come on here, please feel free to. There's the join command, and all you gotta do is get into the either. Don't get in the Bully Frosty channel. I'm not gonna pull you in if you get in the Bully Frosty channel. That's not what that's meant for. Get in the call lobby, and then if we feel like, hey, this is someone who's not gonna sit here and shit talk us the entire time, like Biggs. No, I'm just kidding. If someone who might bring something to the conversation, we'll bring you into the green room here. So, we got somebody, but let me ask a question before we bring Xeris in. All right, because he's our next guy here. All right, let's see. This is for Rin from Rezanoka. Do you know who that is?
Yes, it's Tito.
Yeah, Tito.
Yeah, there you go. He's like he's asking for if you want to do traps.
Of course, I'm always down to trap you, Tito.
There you go. Answer
What?
done. All right. About to
Traps
bring.
meaning once you finish your weekly clears in Savage, you go in the party finder and you trap.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Players can now use Party Finder to recruit cross-world raids and custom matches. It's in there.
Not in the PvP section.
It's not, not there.
Yeah, it's not in the PvP section yet, but it's in there, yeah.
Okay.
It's coming.
Let's get Xeris in here. Xeris, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hey, buddy!
Oh no.
Dad? Is that you?
Exaros out.
Extras.
All right.
Exaros?
No. Frosty. Frosty, say it with me now.
Okay.
Apocatastasis.
Appa, go fuck yourself.
Holy shit.
I
Just
can't
trying
say
to help you out, buddy.
Apocalyptasis.
All right, this is hopeless.
Damn.
Dude, look, I don't say words that look stupid.
Our cat.
Our cat, man.
Anyways, I've been rereading the flamethrower thing. I think there's a little more hope there than what I gave it credit for.
The machinist.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the
so-
dot on that seems kind of questionable. I'm kind of wondering how that works.
I mean, I guess it would refresh every time you hit them with the core thing, right? Or is it just like?
But it
part
says it stacks. Like, what part of it
Up
stacks,
to 10
though?
times?
Does the potency stack? Does the time stack? What stacks?
It would have to be potency, I would think. If I
Fire
was...
that's
damage
what I'm
over time
thinking.
stacks up to 10 times.
So is that
It's just a dot. It's the DOT.
So does that mean that it's going to be a total of 250 times 10, 2,500 damage per tick?
That's what I'm wondering, because that's
Jesus
kind of strong if you
ridiculous.
land it. It's also, like, how fast does it stack also, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird skill. It's a weird idea that they're putting into that class. I don't know.
How do you
It'll be
feel about
interesting to see.
how do you feel? So you think you're going to play a lot of machinists as soon as the patch releases?
Is the season still active when the patch releases?
Yeah.
Wait. If we get practice mode, yeah, I might play it in there. No, I'm not going to play it in ranked, though.
Oh man, poor machinist. It was doing so great, man.
It was the golden age. It deserved to be in the trash now.
I
Just
guess
like
so.
Paladin.
Just like fuck you. Paladin is great, man. It is the definition of something interesting. All right.
I'm biased, so I really
The third
can't
best tank,
talk
man.
about
Third best tank.
Third fan.
Just let me know when you're going to queue, Frosty.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm going to queue you. As soon as I see you fucking queuing, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do everything I can to get on your team to win. Because that's what a friend does, all right?
Well,
God.
I'm one of
No,
those
I
players.
have a couple of clips that say otherwise. Probably remember I told you.
Oh, Ren, do you want me to go
Roasted.
through your stuff and look at all the stuff that you did? All right, we can have that argument. We can have that.
John Madden.
You mean John Madden your ass? The next game we got, I'll make sure that I point out every little misstep Miss Rin makes here.
I'm not talking about missteps.
Uh-huh. Oh, what are you
I don't
talking?
think.
Come on.
I just want to
Let
not
it-
play tank anymore because I'm not a tank.
Don't play tank anymore,
You
dumb
didn't
dude.
get my joke, Frosty.
What was it? Oh, I thought you were just talking crap.
No, I'm not talking crap at all.
Okay, all right. Maybe I just have low expectations.
Oh my God.
Ren, tell me what you were saying.
No, because Mateo was like, "Can you let me know when you queue?" And it just reminded me of that time. Remember I got you in a bunch of matches, and
Mhm.
then I said and you were getting frustrated because you were losing a lot, and then I typed in tryhard. I was like, "All right, I'm done. I'm going to bed." And then I ended up queuing another match, and you got versus me.
That's
And
right.
you were like, you said you were going to
You B word. You
Whoa.
B-word. I remember that. I remember that.
uncalled for.
No.
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume you mean bronze.
Yeah,
Wow.
you bronze player.
I am a bronze player right now.
Okay. All right, Xeris, do you have any other thoughts that you want to share with us here before we kick you out?
Just a couple parting words.
Okay.
Apocatastasis.
Apocatastasis. There you go.
There you go.
That's not right. I'm
Wolf
pretty
Heart.
sure that's not how you say it.
All right, Google it.
Google
What
it.
about Wolfheart?
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 Oh, Wolf's Heart? Wolf's Heart? Yeah. Wolf. Oh, yeah, Wolf. Yeah, I got you.
No, I have nothing else to add to this.
All right, Xeris, thank you for coming on and talking to us, dude. You're a blast. I love you,
Yeah.
man.
I want to bully you more.
All right, I'm going to send you back to Bully then. See you, dude. All right, Xeris. That was Xeris. You guys know who Xeris is. Great guy. All right, we have another question here from Easy Katka. Holy shit! The question cut off, but I know what it is. Frosty, why are you such a great host, but you're so bad as a player?
Wow. What?
Easy.
Wow, that cuts deep.
He's a dick. I don't know if that was actually him or not. It could be, but no, he said that once.
Wow.
We were actually, I think, what was the conversation? I was doing a show, and we were saying, oh, we gotta say bad things about people. Everybody's saying nice things, And then he came out, and he was like, yeah, Frosty's a great host, but he's a bad player. And I was just like, what a dick.
Jesus Christ.
What a dick.
Can I be on that show next time where you're telling people they need to be more negative?
Yeah. What does negativity do, man? That doesn't breed anything. It breeds little kings, is what it does.
What's wrong with this?
What's up? What am I doing? Maybe I'm just like all the poisons inside me from being in a PvP community. You guys are changing me. It is something horrible here. All right, I think that's like that's all the oh no, Mateo, Tito wants to do a TS or T9S trap with you. Just so you know.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. All
I'm
right,
down for traps.
guys, I think that was okay. I think that's good for a show. We've been going for an hour, 2.5 hours, so we're about 30 minutes over now. We could probably go into the final parting words here with everything. We do need to talk a little bit about Aether League, Mateo, and I'm hoping that you can kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on in Aether League.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for asking. So,
Yeah.
Aether League, if you haven't heard about it, is a huge project that Sin, myself, Ice Phoenix, Marshall Renew, and a few others actually. Rinny's in there too as an official. And I'll let her talk about what an official does during that. But what we're planning to do is it's kind of a pretty luxurious goal, I want to say, is we were kind of piggybacking off the success of the Aether Cup and expanding it a little bit there. So what's going to happen is custom matches are coming. So that's going to make things a lot easier. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but Aether Cup, we had teams, queuing at the same time as us. And there's a lot of sniping, let's just say, going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to help. So the way it works is basically you're going to have a match. You're going to have a team, of maximum 6. You can rotate them however you want. And you're going to have one weekly match with another team that's actually registered. We have one team registered right now. We're hoping to get plenty more.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of just laying low the entire time until we got confirmation that custom matches are coming. So basically that one match per week is going to be a best out of 3. Okay, so once all of that's done, it's going to be seasonal. At the end of the season, we're going to have an Aether Cup sort of deal. So it's a lot of fun. If you have not experienced Light Party before, I highly suggest it. It's a whole new level of playing PvP in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of elaborate that a little bit more, just to kind of add more, we will be hosting scrim nights for the first month. So what that means to you is just kind of like an introductory feel to how it is to be in a Light Party, scenario and how everything's going. So what that means to you is if you don't have a team, just put yourself in the pool of players, and we'll kind of do our best to arrange the balance of skill levels of everybody. So
yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude. Hold on, let me click on the link because I need to make sure I get signed up. Rin, do you want to be on my team? Wow, she just laughed.
I've already poked a few people.
Oh, okay. You don't
Am I
want to play
allowed
for
post
Paladin?
links,
Are you gonna
Yeah,
play
everybody
Paladin?
can. Yeah, of course I'm gonna play Paladin.
Yeah, slot is already filled. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on, dude. All right, look, I'm gonna make a team, and the team's gonna be called the Paladin Comeback Team or something. I will make it like the Holy Justice Team. I don't know. We'll figure something out, and we'll make it work.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry.
People should definitely not feel like, oh well, I'm not like a top player, so I shouldn't sign up for this. Like, organized, like Light Party and organized PvP is in a lot of ways the best way for people to learn, because you're working as a team. Even if you get against other teams and you get like, you're always going to be able to take away something. You're always going to be able to learn. It's a lot less intimidating than kind of going into solo queue, having your communication be limited. If you sign up for this league, you'll have access to a lot a lot of players who have been playing for a long time and can help you out and give you advice and stuff like that. Like that's honestly what happened with me. Like I said, I joined the tryhard community, and that's a lot of the reason like I got a little better. So definitely like people should sign up. Don't just think like, well, if I don't have a chance at winning, I shouldn't sign up, because that's like the wrong mentality. It's all about the sport of competition. It's also about having fun, and like, anyone should sign up.
Okay. Yeah, and
Exactly.
I got to sign up for it too. Also, yeah, the Discord's down there too. Please join that. And we should promote the tryhard Discord, of course. Where's that Pioneer link at? Hold on. Let me find out. What's it called? Join? Is that the command for it? What's the command? Link? I don't know what the... I can't remember what it is, and it's supposed to be something that's easy. Discord? Alright, I don't know what it is.
There you go.
Oh, invite. Thank you. You guys have saved me. Alright. Oh my god, it's spamming. Stop it. I'm trying to copy it. Oh my god. It keeps moving. Alright, here we go. Got it. There you go. Guys, please follow that link if you want to join the tryhard Discord. It's good stuff. This is basically the PvP community. There's other people who are playing PvP who are not in that Discord, but usually those people are not serious PvPers, or they've been scorned in such a way that they will never go back. But that's on the small side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just one thing before we get past everything about the Aether League.
Yes.
If you don't have a team, don't be discouraged. I mean, I've said this already, but there are willing people out there, and we did try something a little bit unorthodox last season for Light Party. Is we had these scrim nights, and they were a lot of fun. Do you know what I mean? Somebody that you'd never think of playing with before, especially just being on voice with them and coordinating in that way was really special. Just come out to a couple of nights, see if you like it. I'm sure you will, and we'll see what we can do. Make some friends. It'll be fun.
You know what I could do? I can get King to heal for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't have a team yet.
There you go. You could heal for a paladin. Yeah?
Team Paladin.
He looks so ecstatic right now.
You guys just wait. We're going to get another patch at some point, and you guys are going to regret everything. But then all the good players will switch to paladin. It won't matter anyway. So.
I think you're solid, Frost.
Thank you. Rin?
Aw, you can have him.
Oh my god.
By the way, Frosty Tito wanted me to tell you that he had easy through that question as soon as he woke up.
I'm sure he did.
Grumpy easy.
Grumpy easy, man. All right, so anything else on the Aether League you want to throw out there? Is that pretty good?
I think that's pretty good. I mean, we're going to get things started almost right away. We're going to be doing a lot of it, so you'll definitely hear plenty.
Okay, excellent. All right, guys, please look forward to that. That's going to be the most enjoyable PvP experience. If you like PvP at all, you should be doing it if you want to enjoy yourself. I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to everybody. We are going to close up the show now. I want to make sure you guys all understand who these people are. They're all great people. Stefan, thank you for coming on the show. You've been excellent here today. And, I know you've been banned in the past, but you'll not be banned from MogTalk here anytime soon that I know of.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Stefan, do you want to do any last words here? Any shout outs to anybody?
Shout out to my FC, Rare X, and that's about it.
Okay. There you go. Easy. Done.
Easy.
All right. Mateo, thank you for coming on. You've always been an awesome part of the PvP community. Seriously mean that. Like doing the whole event with Aether League and doing all this other stuff. I know you're just a part of the puzzle. There's lots of awesome people involved in all this, but I do appreciate what you do.
Thanks, man.
Do you want to do any shout outs to anybody?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, ever since we all kind of transferred, Angelus Demoness and his FC, Heavenistic Chaos, have let us in graciously, and really, they've been awesome hosts, so big shout out to them. Shout out to my raid group. Yes, PvPers do raid, like we just started recently. It's been fun. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's my shout outs.
Works for me, man. Ren, thank you so much for coming on and braving coming on here and being belittled by us for I'm sorry if I did anything horribly negative. But I really do appreciate you coming on. You brought out some really good perspective. And I think that I agree with almost everything you said, even the MOBA stuff. I think I agree with.
Okay, well, I agree with Stefan then.
Oh, dang.
Whoa!
Whoa, what a flip-flopper.
I gotta make it.
Hello.
Gotta bring the balance. I can't bring it to the game. Gotta bring it to the MogTalk. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Rin, are there any shout-outs that you'd like to do?
Yeah, shout out to my Gilgamesh friends, even though I'm off the server. I still hope all of you keep in touch with me. So shout out, to like Kyo, Nepu, Tito, all you other guys. And then shout out to my new friends, my new home on Cactar. Like Mateo said, Angelus took me into his FC Heavenistic Chaos, and I've been really loving it so far. So yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. By the way, if you guys want to catch any of these wonderful people here, Stefan has streamed before and may stream again. Are you streaming anytime soon, Stefan?
I'm going to be 100% honest. Probably not.
Okay. Okay.
I will start streaming again when and if I do custom matches and when Rival Wings comes out.
Okay.
Thief, though, not gonna lie, I'm retired.
You're retired?
For the season.
Solo
queue.
queue.
For the season at least.
Can't wait till Rank Decay brings you back.
Yeah. I need to play it just here and there, not for a long period of time all at once.
I gotcha. Rin, you've been doing a lot of streaming recently too, haven't you?
Yep. I haven't streamed in about a week or so now especially now because since I transferred to Cactar, my rank got wiped. And so my queues are a lot slower now. Sometimes I have to sit in queue for a really long time. So, but once my queues pick up again, I do enjoy streaming. Yeah. So.
Okay, and you can catch her over at Renoa, right?
Yep.
Shout out Renoa. There you go. So give her a follow, guys. Mateo, I saw some stream stuff from you. A lot of it was custom match stuff at the most recent stuff that you've been doing.
You'll be seeing a lot of that. I mean, I just have to get around to unpacking this webcam, and you'll see a lot of me.
Really? Are you serious? Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
God damn it! God damn it! I was like, man,
I am planning to get one, but yeah, a lot of custom matches. Solo queue, maybe not so much. Rival Wings, probably. A lot of custom matches. A lot of Aether League stuff, definitely.
Nah, goddamn Kaka. All right. So again, thank you guys for coming on the show. It's been awesome. Thank you everybody for watching the show. You guys are wonderful people for coming out here and participating in today's PvP show. Hopefully we'll do more stuff like this. Coming up within the next month or so, we should have another PvP show coming up for updates. Thank you very much to all the mods that are hanging out. Thank you very much to Andre Kane for letting me use his music for the intro and the outro of the show, and Blizzana for doing the artwork here that you guys see in the overlay. We will have this VOD up soon, hopefully. I know the stream, the Twitch VOD, is going to be a little bit gimmicky because the cuts in and out, but I should have it on YouTube hopefully within the next 24, 48 hours if you guys want to watch it there. Also on Podomatic, if you guys want to search for me on Podomatic, I am there. It's also in iTunes. I'm sure if you search for MogTalk on iTunes, you'll find me. Next week, I am not sure exactly what we're doing. It is time to start doing our rating topic, but I also need to have a lot of conversations with my internet provider and see how I can fix the issues that you guys might have seen today, and that's going to take priority over getting a show fully functional for next weekend because I need to start getting super good quality shows. Not that this wasn't a good quality show. It's just, we were interrupted a little bit, and especially when King talked. So, all right, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, remember to keep cool, be good, and, stay frosty. Ha!
Stay frosty.
Stay frosty. Oh, my goodness.